Hey, you guys. Alright, we're going to be going live in just a little bit here. We have a cast member who will not be named, who is running a little bit late. And that's no problem. In the meantime, chat, listen to some tasty jams. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah. Let's listen to some tasty jams before we get started. Hey there, everybody. Gonna need just a couple more minutes here. Got everybody here, and we are just messing with some cameras and whatnot. Get this stuff figured out, and we will be ready to go. Okay, actually, I'm getting the go signal. I am getting the ready go signal. All right, in 3, 2, hello.
What's up,
hi.
Fooge?
Hello, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Hello?
something to show you guys actually. If you have the stream pulled up, I was
I
messing with some
do.
stuff. Oh, hold on, let me
Which stuff?
move this over. Sorry, I forgot the format
Which
for my
stuff?
windows. Huh?
I'm just fucking around.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Sorry, let me put this here, and then this has to go here, and then you guys stay there, and this goes here, and this window goes smaller, but over here. Sorry, I realize you can't see any of what I'm talking about, but
Yeah, we can't see nothing.
check out. This is gonna be so stupid and so not worth the amount of time that I just put into it. But here we go. Check it out. I got a little fade transition.
Oh.
That's it. That's
I
all.
was like, I don't even know what it is. Is it still coming?
Watch this.
Whoa,
Production. I was messing with this.
Production value.
I got another one too. Here, watch this. I don't like that one as much.
Oh, I kind of like that one.
It's cool. It
Like
looks like
how
it's
it
throwing the
seems
cameras
like we all
over.
swapped spots. Yeah,
Yeah, it looks neat, but like
it's in the game.
I feel like it's a little jarring.
Well, let's see if I can recover my Roll20 password.
That would be good.
Goodness.
All right, Chad. I know I said we were ready to go, but maybe less than previously stated. But hey, in the meantime, let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I have played the tutorial.
So what do you think?
Tutorial's great, man.
Tutorials.
The tutorial, man.
That's
Out of all
almost
the
what they named
tutorials
the
I
turtle
played,
people.
it's like
Maybe.
one of the best.
So, I think it's very Divinity 2, which unsurprising. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. But I don't know. I was a little surprised how much it was basically Divinity 2. Or Divinity 3, I guess it could be, right?
Yeah, I guess. What did you think was going to be different?
I don't know, man. Like, I guess 5e fits pretty well into like the system that they already had. So I guess they didn't really need to change that much. So of course it feels pretty similar for that reason. But I don't know. It's something about it.
Happening?
Oh,
Hey, Rosie.
oh, hi,
Hi there.
puppers.
Okay. All right, this is happening. Oh, yep. Lick the mic. Yep, that's good.
That's good.
You're famous, Rosie.
Rosie, say hi to chat. Chat, say
Don't-
hi to Rosie.
Stop licking the mic. I can't hear you at all, Muffin.
Oh, are you talking? No. Are you muted?
No.
Are you muted on your end?
Yeah, I can't hear you at all, Muffin. I can hear you fine though, Fooge.
Oh, that's a problem. Oh, that's
What's
gonna
up?
break the overlay. Hang on one second. Hold on. Fancy transition. Where you at?
Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. I like
Cool.
literally didn't do anything, but did you hear me earlier when I was talking?
No.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
Like
Now I
since
don't
you've been back,
remember.
Pooch, I've been like riffing this whole time.
You know what? No, I don't think I've heard you say anything the whole time, actually, now that I mention it.
Oh my god, I literally went on a whole thing about like, what the fuck did you expect from the Baldur's Gate?
I didn't even see you getting feisty.
And then you kind of glossed over it, so I'm like, okay, I guess he doesn't want to go with that approach with it. And then I'm like, whatever, I guess I'll just set up this freaking thing here. And then it was like, okay, well that explains a lot. Yeah, I went on a whole tirade.
Muffin,
There
you're
we
so
go.
used to just being ignored. You're like, yeah, this is fine. I'm just gonna go do my other thing is. What?
Being marginalized, you assholes.
Marginalized? Get out of here. So Divinity,
No
huh?
one ever trusts a mother. Love that game. Best game that's ever lived.
Ever?
Ever? Forever? Ever?
It's pretty good.
I
game.
honestly think Divinity is up there in terms of like best video games ever made. I really do.
Yeah.
And
I don't
and
know.
so the reason why I say that is because it's very story rich. So check. The graphics on it are adequate. The gameplay of it is amazing. You can interact with literally anything. Like and even outside of combat, and it like that feels really good, and there's not many games out there that'll let you do that. And then like the third facet is that like the replayability of those games is far better than most other games on the market. Like the only exceptions are like Skyrim and RPGs like that are just so grandiose.
Mhm.
But I think those are fair comparisons. But I think Divinity just beats it in terms of like how story rich it is, and like because if you compare the Skyrim story to like the Divinity main story, like it's clear that there's more like thought, in my opinion, in the Divinity one.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think the
for taking one more step along with that, I think Divinity tried really, really hard not to get sued by Dungeons and Dragons. I really believe that. I think they changed certain parts of the game to be like, okay, we're different. We are very different from D&D. And I
Yeah.
think they kind of like went that direction in the original Divinity and then maintained it. And then finally they were just like, let's partner with Dungeons and Dragons, adjust the combat system a bit, and then like really make the game we wanted to. And I think that's what Baldur's Gate is just the evolution, the Divinity 3 of the series, skinned as D&D, and it just has legs to be a franchise of a lifetime, I think.
Yeah, it's real good. Like we were talking about this during the stream. One of the streams, I don't remember which one. But we were talking about when they add like the map editor. The amount of like modules and stuff that could be ported in from like actual like Saltmarsh, for example. Somebody could go and build Ghost of Saltmarsh in that engine, and you could just play that game. The only thing that would be
Or hell,
missing potentially would be like the voice acting. But I mean, if somebody really wanted to, they could go and voice act it themselves too.
And like honestly, hell, if Larian Studios really wanted to, they could produce like moving forward, not even retroactive content, but the next book that Tasha's Cauldron of Everything or whatever, like
Yeah.
create a $20 DLC of like the Tasha's expansion or the Descent to Avernus expansion, and like boom, now they've monetized this, and obviously or Wizards of the Coast are going to get a cut, but like you have this player base who's like who are fanatics about this game. Like there's cult
Oh, yeah.
following around Divinity, so it's like now you add in the cult following around Dungeons and Dragons, like you're going to change the game, and then you just have to figure out how to make it scalable cross platform, and then you Jeff
There you go.
Bezos.
Then you Jeff Bezos. That's it.
Brought
What
to
are
you
we-
by Shotgun Buck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are we drinking today?
Shotgun
What is it?
Buck. The
It's still the Shotgun seltzer,
Nice.
but it's
Nice.
Buck.
Buck. That was
Buck.
that was the favorite one last time, right?
Buck. No, it's the Sunset 77. That one's the best one.
That's your favorite? Oh,
That one I think is the best spiked seltzer that's ever lived.
I thought it was ranch water.
Ranch water is good, but then later in the
Ranch water,
stream,
that's right.
I tried the Sunset 77 and it changed my life.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
It's just so tasty.
Damn. Sometimes you just try a weirdly named beverage and
Yeah.
that's it. Just whole life's different. That's all you needed.
Then it's life.
Yeah. Just like Divinity.
Bum, bum,
You know,
bum.
sometimes you just try it, you just get that little sip and you're just like, wait a minute.
Once it hooked
Yeah.
you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say I want to say Divinity's like one of the best games I've ever played, but to be honest, I think I got into it so late and I haven't beaten it or even really played that much of it to be even like able to form that much of an opinion. I think the gameplay is
That's
really
fair.
great, and I really like the ability that you can like join with friends and each person can like play one or two characters if you want.
Yeah.
I like that portion of it, which is to me like a game changer compared to a lot of the different like turn-based kind of strategy games. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll be excited to see like not only like where the story goes for the game, but um like how far it goes. Because like I noticed in the game's settings, like for like the multiplayer lobbies, there was like level brackets for like I'm looking for a game that's like 1 through 3. I'm looking for a game that's like 4 to 6 or whatever. And then I saw like there was like 21 to 25, and I was like, wait a minute, the game only goes up to 20. So I wonder if they just did that as like, why not? Or if they got plans for that, because that would be interesting. That's not like epic levels and epic gameplay is not something 5e really has. And
Wait, are you talking about the Baldur's Gate or the Divinity right now?
Baldur's Gate? Baldur's Gate
Oh, okay,
3.
gotcha.
Like
Sorry.
when you're looking through, no, yeah, you're good. Like when you go to the multiplayer lobby, you can like certain, not that it works, but yet, but it has the options on there for like level brackets for if you want to, I guess if you want to play like, hey, I have a level 3 character, I want to just go find a random game and join in with some people. You know, maybe they have like a Discord or something that they can link you. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I think they're doing that in Baldur's Gate. I think they already have that set up when you do the search.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm
I
talking
think
about.
since it's still in early access, but like you can choose the brackets you want to join. And we're playing
Yeah.
with Umbral last night. He was saying how there's a way you can access the Underdark, and that's like from level 5 and upward is kind of like in the level dark or Underdark adventure. So once you finish out this first island, you should be about level 5, and then that's when you jump into the Underdark. So like you can join
Genre nerd,
games
sorry.
that are kind of like randomly in their main story, but you join by bracket of levels. So it's like from 5 to
Right.
10, you can join into this my game session and play with me as a rando. So you still can kind of do that, but I don't know how big that market of people would actually be. Like how many people would be like, yeah, I want to join this rando's game.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a pretty large, I mean, for the audience that it has, and well, I guess not so much right now because of COVID, but for the audience that it has, like the Adventures League stuff is pretty popular.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I could see them like porting in like Adventures League style missions, like shorter missions in there, and like, hey, join this bracket, and like we'll just run like 4 or 5 servers, and people can just like join in and do stuff.
Or if I own the DMs Guild website, I get a few game designers, I hire them on board, and I just make these in this game, and then I port them out with buy my campaign printed materials from DM's Guild, and then get access to our Discord with the link to download this thing. I don't know. They can monetize it. They'd have to figure out the legality and deals with all that on the back end, but like,
Yeah.
there's opportunity. There is opportunity to really turn what Baldur's Gate started, and maybe it's not Baldur's Gate 2 and it's Baldur's Gate 5 or whatever. That is the one that is the true thing that we all want as gamers who love
Yeah.
D&D. But I think this is the biggest steps towards that since Divinity 2. And I think Divinity 2 did a really good job of closing that gap.
Yeah, it seems like, and I say this with a little hesitation because I didn't mess with Divinity 2's like DM stuff, but
I
it
did. It
seems
was terrible.
like it seems like the DM stuff is going like the right direction. And like the ability to like build modules and stuff. I mean, it's not in yet, so who knows like how it's gonna actually turn out. It might turn out that like the level editor and stuff is just not good to use, and that would suck. But because that's the thing that they said with Divinity 2, right? It's another thing that we were talking about is they were saying like we're gonna have this level editor and people are gonna be able to like make these expansive campaigns and all this stuff in here, but it just kind of didn't happen. Maybe with the D&D IP, that'll be more more of a lure for people to like actually go and do it, more incentive.
Well, so I'll tell you the biggest problem with all these game mode DM modes, and this goes even into Tabletop Simulator when we were all super like, oh, we can actually play D&D like actual.
Sim. Yeah.
The setup it takes to do a small event. So like
Forever.
even let's say for
Oh,
example to set up the whole scene piece by piece takes hours for something that you guys are going to spend 5 minutes to burn through. So whereas on Roll20 I can do a quick doodle, take me like a minute to be like that's a bridge that you guys walk on. Like I would have to find the different pieces and like make sure they're locked down and so no one can mess with them, and like it just became such a pain. And then when you would go into the Divinity 2 DM mode, it just gave you too many options, but at the same time too few. So it was like, here's everything you would want to do, and you have to be super minute with everything. Like, here's a chest, you have to choose what loot is inside the chest. You can't have like a randomizer of like, give me random loot for level 1, you know, lucky find ability. It's like, no, you have to design the piece of loot that goes into this chest. And it's like, why wouldn't you just give me a generic piece of armor that I can just throw in there and just say like, you know, +1 magic
like
armor
tables, right?
yeah, and just like make it easy, but it's like no, you have to do that very manually. So it's like okay, fine, you get through all that, and just how players play Divinity. Like if you watch how we play Baldur's Gate, we mess around with a lot of stuff. We interact with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that DM world in Divinity, you have to create a very populous area where it then becomes like every scene is a tavern scene, and the amount of work it goes into making a tavern scene in like Divinity or Sword Coast Online or whatever would just
Sword
take
Coast.
hours.
Yeah.
I spent like 5 hours making a campaign that took like you guys 30 minutes to burn through. So like
Yeah.
it just the cost benefit analysis isn't fun for me because I don't get to actually DM. I just sit back and be like, look at these idiots. And I only get that satisfaction for 30 minutes of my 5-hour investment. Not fun.
So what you're saying you would rather have is just like a bunch of like random generated rooms. Like you could just be like random generate bar, and then it would just kind of have a setup, and you can just drop that into your campaign, or like randomly generate the town, and then you can like mess with stuff once it randomly generates it.
That kind of
I
stuff
think
is
that's
super
steps in the right
useful
direction.
yeah, that kind of stuff is super useful for like uh the party just took a hard right turn, or like oh I wasn't expecting them to do this, but just give me a town, just give me a town, just click the button,
Right.
and then like that's a huge like stress reliever knowing that you have a button that you can do that. That's why like a lot of the time with the exception of the latest Pathfinder 2 campaign that y'all were doing, because that I had like spent entirely too much time on. With the exception of that, I usually have a tab open when I'm DMing that has like a random name generator. Because like y'all are gonna ask, like
what's his name? Boblin. Like you can only have so many Boblins in the campaign.
Yeah, like the goblin doesn't have a name, man. Like there's 40 of them. It doesn't matter. But he's my friend. I want to know his name. It's fucking...
His name's the goblin. What? Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing. It's
I
a
agree.
story.
He's the
kind of
bard.
like what do you guys feel about like Skyrim, for instance, where like I feel like the game had a pretty good depth, but at the same time, like most of the caves you go into or the dungeons, like they look very similar in a sense, like because they're using the same pieces and they're just kind of reorganizing a bit. But I still didn't think it really took away too much from the game.
I think though, like that is the key differential between a game that is like a Skyrim versus a more D&D-esque kind of game. So I wouldn't say Skyrim is a D&D-esque game because it is on rails. Like you have an objective here. WoW is on rails. You take a quest, you do the quest. There's not much room for interpretation. You may do the good ending or the bad ending.
Right.
That's not really
That's true.
impact of your player choice. Whereas like in Divinity, you kill the druid, you don't get the druid quest later in the story, or like there's rippling interactions with that.
Sure.
And in the DM modes in those games specifically, you don't have those options. So the whole game becomes on rails. So you step away further from like the illusion of choice or giving players a choice at least. It just becomes here's we're railroading you and you have to go fight these guys here now. And that's less fun. And I think Skyrim to that regard falls in that same category because it's kill this guy, assassinate him however the hell you want, but he needs to die instead of like
a little more mindless.
Actually I want to befriend him. Yeah. And like let's all be bandits now, and that's what this campaign's gonna be.
Yeah. I think BG3 from what I've seen of the like first island area, it's pretty it's got a pretty wide path that you can walk. Like there's not to like spoilers it for anybody, but there's three different groups basically, right? So like 1, 2, 3.
Who's the fourth?
I think there's 3, right?
You got the druids,
like
the
1, 2,
goblins.
Yeah, you got the druids, the goblins, and the tieflings, right?
And then I guess you kind of have the Githyanki, but they're kind of more removed.
I haven't even seen them yet, so maybe there's 4.
We'll see yet, but to your point though, your point stands that there's a lot of factions. You know?
Yeah, and you can kind of, in a way, side with any of them, or like kill any of them, or like try to spare everybody. I don't know if you can actually manage to spare everybody, but it seems like the game presents itself in a way where like you could talk everybody down if you go real hard into charisma and you get all of them talky skills.
My rogue, who's like super good at deception, like I skipped like 85% of the combat just because I was just like lie to people and resolve it through diplomacy, and it'd just be like, well, great, and then I'd fight. I'm like, oh god, my team is actually really bad, but like yeah, I mean, in the diplomacy, we're great. You know, call us Congress, we're doing fine.
Right.
I guess if we're doing fine, don't call us Congress. But.
Do you still get like experience when you like successfully
significantly yes less but yes
okay.
Significantly less. You get like 25 experience for resolving it peacefully when you would have gotten like 500 for killing everyone. So
well, that's usually because killing one person means the entire town of people is now wanting to fight your face, so
they're angry at you.
Them's big mad.
Big mad.
Yeah.
Where is my dice? Hold on. I gotta grab my dice. I'll be right back.
Go get your dice, bro.
I'm still listening. Oh, okay. Where is my dice?
Where is your dice?
I like literally didn't move it from.
That's okay. We're just gonna watch you walk around your room.
You know what? I'm gonna hide that. I don't want you guys seeing my room. That's creepy. You know, it's a weird way.
Couldn't see the room. Just you walking around. It's fine. Anyway, so Dylan.
What's up?
What have you been up to?
Mostly work.
That's cool.
I didn't really do much over the weekend. I washed my car for the first time in like 3 months probably, so that was nice.
That's good.
Then went to see Shelly's grandparents on Saturday, and that was fun. Or Sunday actually. That was yesterday. So other than that, not too much. How about you?
Been streaming.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've been here, chat. Yeah, I've been here. We've been. I've been chilling with chat. Been asking it when I'm gonna be playing Papers, Please every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's good. Solid.
Have you yet?
No, I don't own the game.
But you could.
I could. Yeah. I gotta save it for a special occasion at this point.
It's like it seems like the crowd really wants it. It's all
part of the crowd really wants it. There is a fractional number of the crowd that really wants it. And
yeah, but they're the only ones who are speaking up. So I mean, I think you got to give them what they want.
Yeah, but so see, the thing is now that like, even though no, we're not playing Papers, Please right now. That's not what we're playing right now. Even though like the channel's small and like there's only like a few people watching and like, you know, it's still just such a powerful meme that like I want to support it continue being a meme. And I feel like if I actually play Papers, Please, then the meme's dead.
I got your solution here, Fuge. Don't ever play Papers, Please, because you're right, that will kill the meme.
Right.
But you need merch. You need merch
Yeah.
that says, "Is this Papers, Please?" And then you got to monetize that.
I don't think
and
I
then
could
you're
legally
definitely
do
in
that.
You can totally do that.
You
You just
there's
have to
a-
change the name slightly. Like
They don't
do that
own the-
abbreviation.
They don't
They
own the
don't
title
have-
of their game.
IP control
think?
of the phrase "Papers, Please."
Yeah. That's
You
like
think?
Emerald
Who are they gonna
Gotchi
sue?
trying to patent BAM.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm
Visa
pretty sure that
agents?
we're allowed to sell T-shirts that say Fuji Gaming presents Dungeons and Dragons: Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I'm pretty sure Wizards would be like, "Oh, well, he put Fuji Gaming in front of it. It's fine." No, no.
What do you? I mean, like you're probably not for Wizards because Wizards actually has a pretty tight control of their IP. Because it's such a anyone can just kind of create a game.
Pretty much all it is.
Yeah, right. Like, but stuff like Papers, Please, like that's. I mean,
owned by
you could
Mattel.
totally say Papers, Please.
Yeah. I think the only way to
Mattel
really find out is just
Hasbro?
to, go ahead and
Hasbro.
make the merch and tell us if you get sued or not.
No.
Yeah, I mean they'll cease and desist you before like you lose all your house and shit.
I don't have a house.
Yeah, then
know.
you have nothing to lose.
Lose
So what's the
somebody's
problem?
house.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't
No. Only reward, no risk. That's how I like this.
Before we lose Muffin's house.
It's a mayday.
It was your idea. It's on stream. This is recorded for forever. It's going up on YouTube in like a day.
Or
or
you
two.
can have shirts that say "Shotgun Spiked Seltzer" by Shiner.
That's definitely not allowed. You can't do that.
Hang on.
You can't, you can't do that. That's not. I'm gonna stop getting merch ideas from you guys.
I mean, or you can.
That's
start
probably a
fake
good idea, I
nonprofit
guess.
and embezzle money through that. I think that's a good idea.
No.
Oh, okay, well,
If
we'll
I'm
come
gonna
back. We'll
do
table
that-
that for now.
Look,
We'll come back to it when
If
you
I'm
calm
gonna
down.
do
And
the only way I get away from that is if I become the president.
well, you just got put
Political
on watch
jokes.
list, Food. So
Yeah, probably. But-
now the NSA are going to be subscribing, and that's just going to be awkward.
Hey, I mean, that's
Subs
more
are subs.
viewers. That's more viewers. I'll take it. I wonder if
what
an
would you do
NSA
if you
bot
saw
in
the
chat.
the real Donald Trump in chat right now was like, "Hey, Fuge."
I mean, if it counts
And
as a
I'm
viewer,
like,
I'll
are
take
you-
it.
Sponsor.
Yeah,
you.
it was just like, I watch your streams and clips of your streams before every debate, and I'm Donald Trump and I approve this stream.
What?
And then he like tweets
two
about
or three of them over and over. I don't know, man. That's a tough one because like that's not an endorsement I want right now.
it. but it would get you crazy viewers.
But it's a powerful one.
You'd be
also-
over 1 million subscribers within the hour if he did that. I
But
guarantee it.
are they the
I can't
viewers
even
you
get
want?
subscribers yet. They're not even. Yeah.
I mean, you would be able to. They'd figure it out, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Twitch would probably be like, yeah, fucking get this guy a sub button. So we can
Food
get that
stock is
menu.
high. Food stock too high.
We need that. We need that
Stock
money.
is high.
Give him a sub button. We need the money. We're gonna get all that money. But I mean, yeah, I don't. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
That's a toughie.
I
Roll
think
perception.
maybe how do you play that? I think maybe you just kind of like let it sit for a bit and then like after a minute be like, nah. And then
You know what? I
and then
think
you get the
you
second
have-
wave news. Of like the first wave is like right? And then the second wave is like, wait, what? He said no? He didn't. Oh, man. And then you get like all of the Twitter people being like, hey, great job. And I'll be like, cool. Both of y'all subscribe.
Well,
too many
also-
morals because I would sell my soul to that devil in a heartbeat. I'd be like, Donald Trump, I have your vote. You have my vote. Full. Just like go double, triple down on it. Tweet it
Nobody
out.
clip
Promote the
that.
hell out of it.
Nobody clip
And
that.
like, and I would be so
Triple
down.
down on it.
Like I would just like, and I wouldn't even care about the morale. People would be like, "Oh my God, I hate you," and I'd be like, "I don't care because I now have like 20 million new subscribers. I'd become famous off of that endorsement alone, and I would ride that wave. And like I would still vote Biden in reality, but like I would just be such like a performative Trump supporter, and just be like, yeah, of course, come on stream with the hat, Trump, you watching? Yeah, boy, keep it going. Like that's how you do it.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
I'd be rich.
You take the
Then I'm
viewers
Jeff
and
Bezos.
Elegante's got it. You take
Now
the
you're Jeff
viewers and then
Bezos.
slowly piss them off. That's no, you're right. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. That's
You're not
exactly the way
wrong.
to go. Just like slip in a brand deal every once in a while for something that they're gonna hate, like soy burgers or something.
man.
I don't know. They're not gonna like that. That's not gonna go well.
I mean,
Just
but
get a
like
sponsorship from Soylent. There you go. That's
who is it? That one MMA fighter? He kind of totally did that. Like Kobe Covington or whatever. Like
Really?
he's like a quote unquote diehard Trump supporter, but he was like on the Rogan podcast like a while ago, and he was just like, no, it's all for the marketing of the fights. Like people buy a fight when it's like Trump versus not Trump apparently, and people will buy those pay-per-view tickets, and it's enough.
Hmm.
And and then he gets invited to the White House, and he just is like,
Oh, man.
yeah, he throws on the MAGA hat. He doesn't care. He doesn't actually give two shits about politics or anything, but he cares about the money that he's winning from the fights.
I mean,
And it's
if putting on a
smart
MAGA
business.
hat would get me invited to the White House, I'd probably do it. That seems fine.
I mean, I think it's divisive enough that like you would get not the viewers you'd want, but you would get viewers from making the statement. And I think that says something about our society. You know, extrapolate
Yeah.
what you'd like from that, but that says something about society.
Pay to see a literal Trump fight. Okay, calm down, chat. You're getting a little feisty. You're getting a little feisty. Come on. Maybe after the election. We'll see who wins. If he loses, there might be an actual Trump fight. He might just try to fight Biden.
Yeah, what if
You want
instead
me
of
to
a
leave?
debate,
I'm
we
not,
just had a
I'm
battle
not gonna
royale?
leave. I'm never gonna leave. You want me out? You gotta fight me.
I do
Yeah,
think
fight
that
me,
would be
fucking
kind of
fight
funny,
me.
just watching two like 80-year-old men try and go at it.
Come back here, Sonny! Ugh,
Like
my
someone
hand,
slipped. Like
That's the viewers right there. Fuck, man, you want to get some viewers? Wakanda style. Yeah, no shit.
just charging at each other. I want to see Mitch McConnell there. They can bring 1+1 into the fight to back them.
Oh, man.
He
Oh,
has
man. If you're
Kamala
bringing a
there.
+1, I feel like Mitch McConnell's the last person you want to do. He's like a turtle embodied in a human.
It's the will of the party.
The fight will be over before he
Dylan.
even gets to the ring. Oh, man. Just watching Trump and Biden just, like, charge at each other, and then, like, halfway through the fight, Biden falls asleep, but, like, it doesn't matter, because Trump has, these little tiny-ass hands, so he can't, like, do any damage to him anyway.
I think plot twist, we see Biden all of a sudden start doing a capoeira pose, and he's like, yeah, I've been doing Brazilian dance fighting during this COVID pandemic. Y'all thought I was sleeping, but here I am. Let's do this. So I think that's what went down.
All right, all the presidents in the last 50 years have to fight at an age based on their presidency. Who wins?
I mean,
when
it's
they
clearly
became
Obama.
president?
Yeah, when
In the last 50 years?
50 years?
Who are my contenders right now? I got.
Hi. So hold on. This was just a very sneaky way to quiz us on all the presidents in the last 50 years, wasn't it?
I don't
Chad,
know.
you're trying to trip
Obama
us up.
and JFK are definitely up there.
Oh,
But
if
may have
JFK's in the running, he's my front runner right now.
been-
Let's see. 50 years.
I think my camera disconnected, Fuge. I'm coming
Oh.
up red on the stream.
Yeah, I got
So we would be Lyndon B. Johnson would actually be the last one. Oh, wait, no, 50 years. Was it 2020 now?
I guess it's
70s, so
Kennedy
no,
wouldn't be in it. Kennedy
Yeah.
wouldn't be in it. He's too long gone.
technically we'd only be able to look from Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, and Trump. And those would be our contenders in this fight. And I don't think Lyndon B. Johnson can scrap, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I think
true.
Nixon could probably throw a good hook and no one would really like expect it.
I feel like Nixon would just
He's
be like
scrappy,
sneaky and
dude.
cheat. He'd throw like some rabbit punches or something,
And then have a dagger that he stabs in your
Yeah.
side, like, ha!
Yeah.
Watergate this bitch! And he just
Tricky
stabs you.
dick.
Tricky dick. Tricky dick comes at you hard, spits in your eye, and then stabs you.
I don't like that joke.
I think George Bush Jr. would hold pretty okay in the fight, just based on his, being from Texas and the heritage of Nolan Ryan on the Rangers.
I think if we have a battle royale status, what's happening here is Bush W is going to join forces with Reagan, and the two of them are going to just start teaming up and just like kung fu fighting everyone down. We're going to see Nixon come out here with his dagger, but luckily gets tackled by Reagan before he
give him a
stabs
trickle
Bush.
down beating.
Trump and Obama are just bickering the whole time, and then Clinton's just going to sneak around and just assassinate both of them. Taken out by Reagan again. Reagan's really just like the fighter in this all. Nixon's out. Ford and Carter are like wrestling, and all of a sudden Bush W comes over, trips him from under his legs. Bush Sr.'s looking back like, yes, W, do my work. I'm going to join this coalition later.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
good
gets
point.
punched by Reagan, and he goes out too. And then so now it's just Bush W and Bush Sr. And then Bush W is going to be like, good, my child. And he's going to pet his head. And that's when W is going to be like, mission accomplished, bitch, and punch him in the jaw. And he's going to go down. And Bush W is just going to come out the winner of this battle royale. I think that's
winner.
I think W's definitely like one of the higher tier picks. Chat was very, very right. Did you see that video back in the day of him dodging the shoe?
Did you see him throw the
He's
opening
quick,
pitch
man.
at the Rangers game, man?
was
Like,
quick.
dude can pitch, man.
It was a size 10 shoe. That's
so.
okay.
And correction, chat. It was Bush W who was betraying his father to align with Reagan the whole time. Bush Sr. was just sitting back watching it all unfold.
Hold on, is this just Star Wars?
It wouldn't be prudent to fight.
Did you just rip off Star Wars? Is that what just happened?
I mean, are we saying that George W is Luke in this analogy? Is that what
I
drawing?
think that's what you said, and I'm pretty sure that
he
makes
invaded
Reagan the
Iraq.
emperor.
That's the Empire Strikes Back. Is that what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that makes Reagan the emperor. So honestly, this might be accurate.
Reagan's the emperor. No, I think Nixon's the emperor, if anything. But
no, Nixon's definitely Count Dooku.
Yeah, Nixon's Jabba the Hutt over here, and he gets kind of screwed over by all parties.
Yeah, he's the one that you think's the guy, but he's not. He's not really the guy. Like,
I think Ford probably has more to him that none of us just can really speak to because we weren't alive during anything Ford. So like, we just think of cars, and it's not even the same guy.
That's not the same guy.
I mean, he was only president because Nixon stepped down anyway, right? So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. He was his vice president. He was vice president Ford. So
does he even qualify then? I mean, he wasn't elected.
He does.
Right?
Well, he's
I
guess
he was elected as vice president.
Was he elected for the second
74 to
term,
77.
Oh,
74 to 77.
Oh, really? Okay, so he wasn't reelected then.
He had Nelson Rockefeller as his vice president. So the elite have always led. Well, look at that. Anyways, so now that we're down the politics train and I'm depressed, let's go ahead and talk about something else.
I haven't watched that
perhaps
video.
Perhaps the ghosts of Saltmarsh.
No, I haven't watched that video of Bush dodging the shoes in like so long. But yeah, he just like ducks it and then smiles, and he throws a second one, ducks the second one, and just kind of chuckles. And then, like, one of the Secret Service guys, I guess, is like, "Are you okay?" He, like, comes up to him. He's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then they drag the dude off.
And then he's like, "You missed."
Yeah. That's so good. I can't play the audio right now, but yeah.
I mean, like, if you think about
Yeah,
it,
that's
I
funny.
think,
That
and
is good stuff.
you know, to be fair, I think having extra protections on arguably the world's most important man is, or person, I should say, is you know, important.
Jeff Bezos.
Nice, Dylan. Nice social commentary. Nice social commentary. But like, if you think about it, like, who is it?
Papa Jeff.
Roosevelt was shot. Was it Roosevelt, or am I thinking of Eisenhower? Or who is it that was shot and still maybe it was Roosevelt. I think
Kennedy.
it was Roosevelt. Teddy. I think it was Teddy. Well, Kennedy was shot, but
That's not
Roosevelt
funny,
was
though. That was a
shot and then
tragedy.
still finished his
Yeah, that's
speech.
Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah.
That's Teddy. So like, I mean, do you think of the presidents in this battle royale, if any of them were shot, that they would be able to finish their speech with composure?
No.
That depends
Absolutely.
where they were shot.
I think, yeah, I guess. Let's just say where they're shot, where Roosevelt was shot in the gut. Just blah.
Blah.
No, I don't think any of them could. I mean, of the ones that I
No.
remember since I've been alive.
Though, to be
No.
honest, should he have kept doing his speech after he was shot? Like,
I mean, that's
I think
a
the
valid
right
point,
decision
too.
is to just, maybe go
I
get
mean,
checked out at the hospital.
what medical treatments did they have at that time? Like,
Yeah, they probably just
well,
would
it's
have like
not a
sawed
limb,
off a
so we
leg
can't
and like
amputate it. So you might as
And-
well finish your speech, Mr. President.
This is gonna be the last
so-
one. Make it good.
Chat clarifies it was Roosevelt, and he kept on with the speech for 30 minutes after the fact. So it's 30 minutes of being shot.
Bull moose indeed.
You know, you start your speech, you get shot, and then you have to finish 30 minutes later. You still have to figure out your bullet points after being shot and speak to them. I mean, yeah. Do you stick to the agenda? Is that what you do?
I mean,
I might go off script a little bit.
if you're
I
a
think.
real
I don't know.
president, yes.
You gotta get some wiggle room.
Yeah. Could probably use some like current event or something that to land your fan base there.
Yeah. No,
Man.
chat's right though. Like, dude, how's the rest of the world gonna see that when like you're shot and you're just like, yeah, I'm not done with my speech though. No, we'll go to the hospital in a minute. I ain't done. Like,
Or
damn.
being too fast to get out. That's a fair point. No one knows what Ford did, but we all remember Taft, and we only remember Taft for one reason.
I don't remember Taft.
Well,
He was
Taft
fat,
is the
I
one who
guess.
he couldn't get out of the tub. That's why.
Excellent.
Overweight. Oh, there's a mosquito in my house.
That's not good.
We'll be hunting that for the rest of this session.
Gonna get the Zika. Is that a thing still? Was that like a thing
No.
that was going around? Or
I'm pretty
is
sure
it
it's
It
still
was, like,
existing.
Back in 2016.
I
don't think it just
There's
We
a
had
lot of things to keep up
H1N1
with.
after that, and Ebola. You're several diseases behind, Fuge.
I forget,
Ebola's
man.
been around for a while. I feel like.
I think it's still a thing.
Yeah, it's still around.
Don't get the Zika.
I'm sure it's still around.
If you
I
get-
mean,
if you see
I'm
mosquitoes-
sure it's still around.
Yeah, if you see
So is
mosquitoes,
polio, but,
don't,
like-
Yeah.
don't fuck with
I thought
mosquitoes.
polio was eradicated.
no, because anti-vaxxers
yeah.
decided to
Oh,
say
that's right. They're
Is
right.
it
They brought
is it
back.
making a
There's a-
comeback? Is polio
It
making
is,
a comeback?
Is
in the
smallpox
United States it
eradicated?
is no, the bubonic
I hope the
yes,
bubonic
for a
plague
long
is.
time, quote unquote, eradicated, because if it was eradicated, it should be extinct. But there is a recent outbreak of actually both the plague and smallpox. And I want to say it's China, but I don't want to be wrong on that. But there is news on that somewhere in the world. I want to say it's rural China, but I could be wrong. But yeah,
Mhm.
or maybe that's propaganda. Who knows?
Chat, we don't fact check these things. Don't.
Yeah.
If it's
This isn't a we go with
Might be
debate
slightly
format
more
here.
reliable than certain news stations that shall remain nameless.
maybe not.
Literally
I don't
all
know.
of them?
I'm not gonna check it. I'm not gonna run the numbers.
I mean, I'm over under on that. Just throw a dartboard. You're probably right. There's
Yeah.
bias on it.
For
But I will
example,
plug The Intercept. The Intercept is actually independent news that gives pretty critical analysis of like both sides, and I think it's a very good independent news source. But
well, there
that's
you
my
go.
opinion.
There you go, chat. What was it? What was
Yeah.
it called again?
The Intercept is the master brand of it. They own a bunch of sub news brands, such as The Hill, Check out The Hill Rising with Crystal Ball and Saga and Jetty. Those two are a great source of news and politics if you don't know anything
them
about
I've
news
heard
and
of.
politics. They're on the Rogan podcast, in fact.
No,
They're
no
great.
way.
That's how I found out about them. I started listening to them, and I am an everyday listener now. Like,
Nice.
they talk about like everything and everything current events of like what's actually going on, and they give you the no spin. Like, and you'll have them because they're both bipartisan. You have the Republican and the Democrat, and the Republican will call out bullshit that Trump does, and the Democrat will call out bullshit that Biden does, and so you get like a very fair viewpoint of that. And if you
That's
ever want to
good.
question
It's
their
not enough of
integrity
that.
as journalists, one of them ran for Congress and has a pretty spotless record, and the other has been a White House correspondent for Fox News and for a bunch of other things. So when he's critical of the president, it's safe to assume that he's being truthful. Since he had to sip the Kool-Aid when he worked for Fox. But now he doesn't, and he does fair and balanced reporting, ironically.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
Full
good.
circle.
That's good. So we are right at 8 o'clock. So we definitely ran long on this pre-show.
We started a bit later too. That's to be fair.
We did, but that's fine. All right. Well, as much as I know, chat will love continuing this pre-show just throughout the entirety of the show. Dylan, what are you doing?
I'm still talking. I forgot to feed my dog. So carry on.
You forgot to feed your dog?
I know.
Oh my god, chat flame him. Chat,
So-
let
Okay.
this guy know. Cancelled. He's
Tell 'em
cancelled.
what's up.
It's back. We figured it out.
Spam
See,
the.
she heard it and she came running. All right,
Funker
we're
Z,
good.
I guess.
Crisis
emails?
averted.
I don't know.
All right.
What about this one? Can I spam that? Does that show up?
You
Oh,
died.
hey, that shows up.
You
Nice.
died
In
is
chat?
what it says. in
Grab
the chat.
another
Yeah.
drink. Well, need another drink to DM you fools.
See,
You-
now
it's for real.
Muffin's leaving.
Now
I'm gonna
I
go
need
get
a
another
drink.
drink while Muffin's getting a drink.
Well, wait, hold on. I don't have wireless headset, so that means I can't get up and get a drink.
Oh
then chat
my god.
will have-
Oh.
I have
just
a
got
wireless
this
headset, but
specifically for this thing.
it's heavier than the wired one, and like the Bluetooth is a little weird, so I don't use it as much lately.
I mean, as long as there's no dead air, right? Like that's the big thing.
Dead air.
Yeah.
That's the rule of radio. No dead air. If you have dead air, that means someone screwed up.
Oh, that's
someone
good.
had
Voice.
Yeah.
We could all judge Muffin's room, or we could
Yeah,
judge.
let's judge Muffin's
Yeah, how
room.
basic my
Dylan,
room
sit
behind me is.
down.
It's not great.
You don't even have a
Although-
poster on your wall, bro.
That's unfair because it's over there and
Yeah,
over there.
turn your computer
So-
then. I don't see it. It doesn't
Oh, I don't
exist.
want-
I moved this painting and I moved that desk so that this was like I had stuff behind me. Okay, I'm
Oh.
just saying.
I'm just
so
saying, don't fuck
basic,
with someone who has a
Muffin.
sword here. You know, I'm just come
Will you
after you.
stab me
guys.
through the internet? Why are you
Oh,
threatening me?
shit.
I will stab you through the tubes. It's happening.
That's not gonna
What
happen.
is that? Where'd you get
I'm
that
not
sword?
even slightly concerned.
It's actually, for those who want to know, it is a Kirito's sword from Comic Con. I bought it, $70. Swords are really cheap, apparently. This could fuck someone up. Like honestly, like I can't believe this is something they sell for $70. Like that's insanity to me.
What is it?
It's a
You said-
sword.
What's
Well,
what's the
what kind
TOS
of
on weapons? Weapons on stream? What's TOS on weapons on stream? I don't remember. I know you can't have
Oh,
guns
God.
on stream. That's for sure.
Good.
I mean, it's basically a cosplay item.
It's cosplay.
Twitch.
It's not sharp.
You can buy it at Comic Con. It would be on anyone's Comic Con video of a vendor. So like
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah.
Did they do a background check on you before you got it though?
No. They literally
gonna
just
grab
sold
a
it. They
Coke on
were
that.
they would give me a discount if I wanted to buy two. Like I could be dual wielding right now. Like fucking people up, stabbing them in the streets, but like I'm not going to do that cuz I'm a sane human being, but swords are cheap.
See, this is
Just
why we
saying.
need sword control in the United States. We got crazy people like Muffin over here going to Comic-Con buying swords. There's no regulation
Second Amendment
behind
can't stop
any of
this.
this. No.
I have proficiency, bitches, okay? So
Actually, that's I guess the reason why they don't need to like card.
No
you
one knows how to
because-
Do a
wield
floor
Yeah,
grab.
no one knows what to do with the sword. You're just like
it's not the best home. Okay, anyways, let's get back on topic here, boys. We have a dungeoning and dragoning to do.
Yeah, so we have 2 hours left with Ghosts of Saltmarsh until we have a 5 week break. So, pressure's on.
Let's
All right,
finish the
think we
whole
can-
campaign right now.
Yeah, you think we can finish the module in the next, hour and 55 minutes?
I hope so. I
think
sure
so,
hope
too.
so.
You got to be real good at directing us on what to do.
Yep. Time to railroad. Just kidding.
I'm
So
kind of just
let's-
hoping at least that we resolve this whole like who's stealing stuff from the mine, and we can kind of leave it on that. Maybe I don't know. We'll come back to it. We'll find out.
I think we should just,
Maybe
instead
we
of
could
playing
leave it
so
on a
tactfully like we
cliffhanger,
have
and then-
been, we just need to start going for like blood.
Yeah.
It's the only way to do it.
Maybe
Once
we
the
can.
bodies start dropping, that's the only way you make real progress.
Yeah. All right. Dylan, what happened last time?
Break out your notes.
Okay. Let me see if I took notes last time. Go into the document folder and folder. Yeah, I did not take notes. So what I remember happened, and tell me if I'm wrong. All right, so we left Eleander's place, and talked to the mine before, and then we went around the town. And there was a creepy kid staring at us, and then we went past the empty net and back to the original bar. I talked to some guards and pissed them off and got some information. Fuge talked to some dwarfs who were bitching about their jobs.
That was me.
And then we rested, and then I caught a fish, and then we went and we saw a cart rolling away from the empty net and spent way too long trying to figure out how to track it down, and then lost it. And then we came back we went back to the empty net. Fuge got pickpocketed, and then we tried to get extorted, or we almost got extorted by the constable guy. And then we asked for his manager, and he freaked out. And then we went into the empty net, and we were introduced to what's his name? Or we got past the bodyguard, and we tricked him, and then we got into the empty net, and then Fuge caught a cheater, and the owner of the empty net kind of came down and introduced himself, and I think that was it.
Kreb.
Yep.
Kreb was his name.
Kreb.
Schenker.
I didn't get.
Yeah.
Schenker, like shank, but with an I.
Schenk or Schenker. Schenker.
Kreb Shanker.
Kreb Shanker. Wow.
Cool. Yeah, and that's basically catches everyone up of what happened. That was a pretty accurate account of what happened last time.
Solid.
Great. Should we just dive in? Any more preamble?
Let's do it.
I'm good with
Cool.
it.
I like how I look to my camera or to my computer without the camera to like look at Fuge, which is counterintuitive. Anyways, great. So you guys are at the empty net. Again, you see the festivities going around. You see Kreb kind of like hanging out on the top section, next to a bunch of kind of like consort type tieflings who are canoodling with some other patrons. And you kind of see him just overlooking the bar, or the whole empty net just from the second floor. The rest of you guys are downstairs. You've come up with some sort of plan. The different things you've heard of is that some of the stuff has been going towards Eleander has been commandeering some of the materials. However, not all of it makes it back, but some of it is excused by Manistrad as just like the cost of doing business. However, Manistrad has approached you with more stuff being stolen, so it's probably, is he stealing more? Is he? It's unclear about what's going on there. However, you do have a lead from those druids, and also, or not the druids, sorry, from the dwarves, and also from the cart in terms of the direction it went. After hearing that the shipment had to be taken away with that carriage and that person taking it. So you know that the supplies are being taken somewhere. Yeah, that's kind of everything you know so far. You guys are at the empty net. What are you doing? What's your next step?
What do you think we should do, Eartos?
So we still think it's Iliander, right? Iliander?
Yeah.
Is that to me or is that to Dylan?
Right. I think it's to me, right?
Jevin, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it seems like we know Eleander is something shady's kind of going on. Like it seems to me like he's he's stealing the stuff from the mine and maybe like trafficking it somewhere. That's my hunch anyway.
Mhm.
We don't really have any hard evidence other than what our plan was last time was we were going to check out the empty net and then maybe stake out the hold we found in the first session, like
Right.
where you licked the wall.
Why did I do that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can't think of really like any situation where I would lick a wall.
Well, apparently I
So-
did. But I was
So
wrong.
that was our initial strategy, and then when we were coming to the empty net, we saw the cart leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to find out where the cart is going, but like these people didn't know. No, I think we forget the cart. The cart is important. I feel like the cart is definitely important. And finding out where that's going is like definitely bigger picture, but I don't know that we were hired for bigger picture. I don't know that that's the job, right? So I think we just do the thing that we're going to get paid for and not the thing
Sure.
that maybe we won't be.
Right.
The thing that
So-
we won't have 2 hours to do.
Can we
We'll be able to do
is
too.
there like anyone who looks like in the bar we're at where we might be able to find out some more information from? Like, yeah, I mean, is there anyone who looks like they might know about Eleander, I guess? Like any
Go ahead and
like
roll
symbols or banners? I don't
perception.
know.
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception on trying to see if anyone else has like a house crest of Eleander since you guys stayed the night at his home. So you don't really see anyone with his house crest. However, you do see someone who would have been among his like staff, like house staff, a servant kind of butler kind of deal, who seems to be taking a drink from a beer at the corner of the bar, on the far end, just kind of alone, just off duty, taking a happy hour, so to speak, drink, to numb his sorrows.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess I'll like go up to him and I'm assuming I have like a drink at this point because
Yeah,
kind of my
you
thing.
have one in hand.
And I just kind of I kind of just go up to him and just kind of start small talk like about kind of complaining about work.
To
Um,
work, right?
Yeah.
Go
like
ahead and roll
everyone-
deception, just so I have an idea of how like believable you are in this conversation. Man, rolls tens of days. So
for the last like 2 sessions, dude, it's like all tens.
it was a very average roller.
Mm-hmm.
So you approach him. You kind of you're talking about work. Are you talking about fishing specifically, or are you like you're talking about gripes of adventuring? How are you griping?
I would say I don't know, like I don't know, maybe like bring up like you look like shit how's your work or something, and then just kind of talk about like my work at the same time, like, oh, and then just complaining about how I thought I had the big one on the line, and maybe talk about the ghost fish that's been haunting me lately.
So
It's not real.
yeah, your ghost
It's
fish.
not real. What are you talking about?
So as you kind of are midway through your ghost fish like fishtail,
Mhm,
he kind of like takes a deep sip of his drink and he slams it on the ground. And he interrupts you and he's just like, "You want to know how my day's going?" And you hear him like kind of slurring and he's kind of sloshing, like swaying side to side, and he's
Mhm.
just like, "My day has been nothing but people telling me what to do, and everything I do isn't right. It's always wrong. I can never do anything right." And then you see him try to take
I
another
feel
sip of
that,
his empty
brother.
glass, and he like slams it back down on the bar. And barkeep, I need another one. And then you hear the barkeep, one of the bartenders across the bar, shouting at him, "It's like, oh, we know you're not good for any more coin. That was the last one you had today. No more. We don't want you messing up the bathrooms like you did last week." And then you see the butler says, "Ah," and he like throws the glass on the floor. It shatters. Among the other shattering of glasses across the bar, it is drowned out. He looks at you and he says, "You know, I was once the coachman. I was the the best coachman that's ever lived. But you know what? You know what? Some urchin from the street comes marching up like he knows Eleander or something. That tattooed fuck." And he spits a little bit as he says that. And he says, and then all of a sudden, I, his trusted servant of many, many years, has to sit here in this degenerate bar, waiting for the real coachman to come back and pick me up and take me to Aleander's estate. What does he think? The food cooks itself and serves itself? He's a fool, that Eleander. He just trusts any vagrant to take the coach over to the town, to the mansion on the coast. What a fool that Eleander is. And you see him kind of like go out of breath a little bit, and you see him start to like nodding in and out of consciousness. It is clear that he's had a bit too much to drink. And maybe the bartender was right.
Nice.
So he just confirmed that Eleander has people taking stuff to a what did he say? The estate on the coast?
A mansion on the coast.
A mansion on the coast. A mansion on the coast.
And you know what
That's a
I
location.
say? As I say,
Scooby-Doo
he's like, and you know what we should do to get back at that miserable bastard? We should go down to that mansion and mess up that carriage.
You want to mess it? Go ahead and give me a persuasion check. I would even okay. I was gonna say even add advantage, because he's pretty drunk and pretty
22.
susceptible.
That's a crit.
But a 22 and nat 20 on that. So he looks at you. You almost see kind of like as he stands at attention and looking at you dead in the eye. He looks and says, "That sounds like the best idea I've heard all day. Barkeep, tap me out. I'm ready to leave." And as he kind of does that, the barkeep like looks at me and says like, "You're on an IOU, buddy." And he says, "Forget him. My buddy here has the tab." And he points at you and he starts to march out the door, expecting you to follow his leadership as he ventures forward. You've inspired confidence in this guy to do some delinquency.
Delinquency.
Let's do it.
The barkeep looks at you kind of like at the drunkard's plea of like you got his tab covered. What is it that you say? Don't Drevin.
And he already started walking out the door.
He's drunkenly like said that you're gonna pay and he's just gonna walk, and he's already walking out.
Okay, I'll be like, I have no idea who that is, and then I kind of follow him out the door.
Go ahead and give me a deception roll, because the bartender would have seen you talking to him, So like the bartender
is
looks
a
at you, like, I've never
3.
seen the
That's
guy,
a nat
and he's
1.
just like, he's cleaning the glass and he's looking at you pretty deadpan. He's like, you literally just inspired him to go like burn down a mansion or something. Like I wasn't paying
Aye,
too much
you got
attention.
me. Fine.
Um, he slides you over a bill and he just says
Barkeep's always trying to get me to pay out their mortgages.
5 gold for all of his tabs.
5 gold!
He has been delinquent on a lot of tabs.
Son of a bit. Why would you let him rack up a bill of 5 gold?
We knew he was good for the coin, or at
What
least
kind
the
of
services.
establishment are you running here?
The finest is another barkeeper chimes over his shoulder and then just as quickly disappears. Great. So just outside the now bouncerless empty net, you see a butler with a disheveled kind of attire. A little bit of like what you can only assume is maybe his spit or maybe beer, hopefully not vomit. Just kind of like
Good old
on
spit
his
beer.
the white part of the like outfit of a of the butler outfit, the white part. Anyways, so yeah, that's on I guess the shirt.
The
On
lapel.
that, the lapel. Vomit, a little bit of supposedly not vomit on his lapel. He eyes you and he's like, finally, thank you for handling my tab, by the way. That was really nice. And then he kind of points out towards the direction of the bridge, and he says, "That way." And as he says that, you just see him start to collapse onto the floor. Do either of you want to try to catch him?
Yeah, I'll try and catch him.
Okay, go ahead and give me a dex save to try to
Sure don't.
lunge to grab him.
Doesn't even occur to me.
Okay. So as you see him stumble, you lunge and grab him as his head is going to hit the cobblestone. He would have hit it pretty hard otherwise. So you actually saved him quite a bit. He looks at you in his drunken stupor and says, thank you. I appreciate that. Now onward! And you see him kind of like throw you off balance. You still manage to catch him as he thrusts himself forward to say onward. And you kind of retake his balance, and he directs you across the bridge.
Nice.
Okay.
So do you guys choose to follow him the rest of the way?
Yeah,
Yes.
but can I actually before we get too far there, can I maybe like ask him what he plans to do when he gets to this place?
And none
Just
of
to
my
kind of
business.
keep him in our keep him heated about the situation.
He eyes you. He eyes the two of you over and says, "The two of you have swords, right? Or some sort of weapon, sharp-bladed weapon." And he's like, "We're going to mess up the wheels on the wagon. He'll never see it coming, and he'll be late for his delivery back at Eleander's. That stupid idiot. And then he'll get fired, and I'll be the coachman again, and it'll be all good in the great salt marshes." And you see him just kind of like sit back triumphantly and happy. At kind of like the prospects of being able to get back at the coachman.
Great. But yeah, I mean, I'm still about following him though.
Okay, great.
I'm assuming we're kind of like helping him along at this point, like maybe.
Yeah, so he's kind of like drunkenly stumbling through the city, kind of leading you guys towards where this thing went. However, Fuge, give me a knowledge check or I guess a history check. Give me a history check.
History. 14.
14. So you notice that as he's stumbling forward, he actually goes beyond the food market or that kind of market you guys saw the coach directly turn into the last session. You see him taking a different path. Do you still continue to choose to follow him blindly? Not blind. That's a poor choice of words. Do you choose to follow him?
Yeah, I spent the whole
Continually?
episode blind muffin. How do you know?
That's right. That's right.
No, no, I think Yeah, when I see him going the other direction, what was this dude's name again?
His name is Boblin. No, I'm just kidding.
His
He actually,
name
he actually,
is
he actually
Random
does,
Moderator.
he actually does have a name. Just give me a second. I gotta find the
Okay.
entry in the book.
So, I say like whatever his name is because I'm sure we would have got it at some point. I don't think we did though. So I'll just say, hey, when the cart came through here, it actually turned down this road. Are we taking some kind of shortcut, or
Um,
do you know where we're going at all?
yeah. Yeah. So just for we're going to just call him Ricky. Because technically it would have been a girl, and I don't want to retcon that, so I don't have to like pick a new accent since I got this one kind of in there. So we have Ricky the butler instead of Riley the butler. Anyways, Ricky the butler. You ask him about the direction of the thing, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he looks at you, deadpan in your eyes, and he says, "Has a butler ever been?" And you say, "Hold on," and he like turns over and he just vomits like right in front of you, and he turns to he's like, "Has a butler ever been wrong?"
Yes, I assume.
He looks at you and he says, "Bah! What does a lizard man know of anything, anyways? Now go steal some children or something." And you see him kind of like stumbling back, and he's like, "Now, if we want to get to the estate, we need to follow this
It's a rude stereotype.
eastern road. And then if you get to the top, you'll find the mansion. You can't miss it. It's the only mansion on the top eastern road." And he kind of like says that, and he's like, "No, like I said, onward!" And he kind of like stumbles forward again, almost falling to the ground, but manages to catch his balance before totally eating muck. So that's what Ricky does. Do you continue to follow him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Great. So Ricky stumbles forward, confused at the crossroads, goes this way, and starts to go then west. He's about to turn west.
Which way is west?
The
Down.
two of
Okay,
you,
cool.
give me survival checks to verify if you can identify the direction you're going in. Wow.
Wow.
I know all directions, despite this stupid compass.
As soon as he's about to like turn right, the two of you just like literally grab him by the shoulders and just like specifically you, Fuge, like you
Just,
see
like, throw him.
Drevin about to say something, but you just like grab him and just like push him in the right direction, and then he stumbles going east the way he said he would. Clearly he made a mistake in it all. So he manages to go on the correct path and continues forward up the eastern road. So time goes on as you guys trail this eastern road, and we move to this map.
New map.
So you guys see that the town of Saltmarsh is just over here, and you traveled along the eastern road all the way down over here, just to kind of help conceptualize where you guys are in the world of
Is
things.
this like a super zoomed in portion of a map?
I don't know how zoomed in you are in relation to everything, but everything looks crystal clear on my side.
I think
It's
it's
like
like
real
really
pixely.
zoomed out.
Is it
I
supposed to be
think
real
that might just
pixely?
be
Like
a
the
roll
hexes are
20
huge?
error. This is like legit the roll 20 asset, so like I don't know. I didn't have to import this one. This one was part of the money.
Oh,
So.
okay. That's weird. Like, are
Yeah,
you seeing it on
I'm
my
sure
end?
it's just a connection issue. Yeah, that's super weird that like the dude looks fun on your stream.
Oh,
Like,
okay. So that's
Yeah.
not what it looks like on your end.
No,
No,
yeah,
not
it
at
looks a
all.
lot clearer on mine too.
Yeah. I'm just going to chalk that up to connection, but either way, that was just to help conceptualize where you guys are in the world. So you travel quite a ways. Since you're not using a mounted vehicle or anything like that, it takes you guys hours to get there. Like you are following along this path, you see it out on the hill in the distance, so you identify the target, you see it in distance, and you head towards it. It's just a long road out of town. So you guys spend the greater part of the rest of the day walking to this home, this mansion. Good thing you can't actually see it because it kind of spoils it a little bit of what's going on in this mansion. So what we're going? Oh my God, what just happened? Roll 20. Jesus Christ. Move the thing over here. Great.
Oh, there
Great.
it is.
So you don't see what you see right now. Wait.
Yeah, I see it on mine, but for some reason it didn't update on yours. Food. Oh, there we go.
On the stream? Okay, there we go. Okay,
We're good.
The stream's a little behind.
So you guys, so this is like what the actual home would look like. But let me give you some flavor text. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay. Wait, that's not it. Okay. So as you guys are on your way to the house, you see that the road to the house winds through the rocky coastal terrain, often offering a view of the sea. Low clouds press upon you. Occasional patches of sunlight appear out over the water. A stiff wind blows in over off the waves, carrying the briny stink of churning salt water directly into your nostrils. As you approach closer and closer towards this mansion on this hill, you see a massive stone wall about 6 feet tall that encloses that kind of runs along the perimeter of this mansion ground. It's partially collapsed in several places across that wall, so it's very clear that access in it, like the wall was built a long time ago, and it's largely dilapidated. Like there are holes in it. Like it's really not protecting nothing from no one because anyone and anything can really slip through very, very easily. There are like big old gaps in this wall.
Such as a lizard man.
Such as
Got it.
anything and anyone in between, and a lizard man.
Got
And basically, the entire it like around. So you have this building around it. You have this wall in front of it. You see in front of the main part of the building. You see this large garden, kind of like courtyard, lawn kind of thing. As you are approaching closer and closer in. And as you get closer to the gate, you see that the gate seems to be latched and chained shut with a lock padlock on it. However, it seems that lock and chain are in vain just because, like, again, the wall has so many holes around it that, like, just because you're not walking through the front gate doesn't mean that you can't just slip through the side very easily. So it seems to be in vain. You kind of see beyond the garden that there's this decrepit house that sits on the high ground in the area. Around it, the stone wall has crumbled in many places, exposing the interior grounds. An ornate metal gate lies open at the end of the road. Oh, sorry. So it's not locked down. I was wrong about that. My bad. Swaying slightly in the wind. So you actually see the gate kind of like it's clearly abandoned is kind of the idea. Wild flora is growing throughout the innards of the yard. You see weeds massively kind of like growing through the different like brick floors and cobblestone floors, just breaking through the grout through that. You also see a bunch of rotted wood on the house. So on the exterior of it, the wood that's holding it up is like rotting in places. And as you guys are approaching closer and closer on the road leading to the house, you really see how unkempt the vegetation on the road leading to this estate would be. You guys, throughout your life experiences, have seen many different affluent places, at least from afar, that you would be able to tell that this place was once grand but has been largely abandoned for many purposes. So as you get closer and closer to that gate and wall, you see Ricky come closer to you in his drunken stupor and says, "There, That's where we were supposed to take the carts, but that's when the stupid guy took my job and decided to go there himself.
It's
And
rough, man. It's rough.
you see him hiccup after kind of saying that, and his eyes are kind of going closed as he's swaying, almost as if the walk to this place made him more drunk and less sober. But he is clearly not in a way. He must have been slipping sips from a flask when you guys weren't watching. So that's what you see. You see this, you know, largely abandoned mansion, with the overgrowth in the forefront and the kind of dilapidated wall. And you guys would be in front of the gates, so you wouldn't be in the house or anything. This is just the map I'm showing you. You'd be in front of the gates.
Do we see the cart anywhere?
As you peer deeper through the swinging kind of gates, you see, you actually don't see a cart. There is nothing there. It is, looks fairly abandoned, like nothing has been there. But go ahead and give me a perception check. I'd give you a perception check on this.
That is a 2.
Okay, you do
Is
not
a
see
natural
anything.
one.
It is
It's a 2.
Like I'm
largely
blind now,
abandoned.
or like no?
You
Nah.
see, you see everything I described earlier.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Well, I think we should maybe well, let's ask Ricky. Why don't you Ricky? Where's the cart? Let's go vandalize it. Show Eleander what's what.
He's like, vandalize. He looks around, kind of like with double vision. You can't really see straight as he sways back and forth.
Just too drunk to remember
And
the
then
part. God damn it.
and then he looks deeper and deeper into. He's like, there should be a cart. And actually, we're gonna give him a perception check at disadvantage.
This
Okay,
guy.
yeah. He's like, he looks and he says, there should be a cart over there, but I don't see it. We were told to meet here, and that's what we were supposed to do. And then that's when we take our long walk and we come back in an hour, and then we go back to Leander. That's how that's supposed to work. And you see him kind of like very confused in his own analysis of what's going on and why there isn't a cart there. He breaks out his pocket watch and looks at the time, closes it, and then he's like, "The cart should be here. The cart. I don't know what happened. Did they get? Were they stolen? Did you guys see anything on the way here?" And he like asked you guys if you saw like an abandoned cart on the way here, like as if you wouldn't have missed it.
No. I'm just kind of like looking
you
around.
see him.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You see him kind of like step through the gates, and he's a little confused. He's like, there should be something right here. We should go over here. And he points toward a thorny bush, when all of a sudden, what looks like to be a furry paw reaches out, grabs the drunkard, or grabs Ricky, and pulls him into the brush. And that is the last you heard of Ricky. He kind of was mid slur of a sentence, and he is just as you kind of see these furry hands reach out and just like yank him into the brush. And for perspective, like he stumbled forward through the gate, kind of like, where's he at? Where's this cart? Where's this cart? And as he continued to walk forward into the road, that's when the hands reached out and grabbed him. Just so for the scene to be clear.
I think my camera disconnected again.
Nice. So, I mean, is there like any visibility in the bushes? Whoever's in the bush or whatever's in the bush, come out now, and we can talk this through.
Give me an investigation check.
I got a 0 in that. Hey, 15.
Or
Or-
survival check. Either or would be fine.
Oh, survival?
Um,
Well, I mean, we'll let the 15
well,
ride.
15 works. We'll take your investigation. That works. So as you kind of are thinking through this situation of what happened, you actually were able to see a few things. One, you identified the brush that the rose bush that was kind of concealing the thing that grabbed him. The second thing you notice is that there seems to be a lot of droppings as well as paw prints
Ew.
of what looks like to be what you can only assume as a giant weasel. That seems to have made a home in the kind of abandoned gardens of this home. You don't know how many there are. However, you do know that there are clear signs that some sort of mammalian animal lives in these thorny bushes, and have made it their natural home. So you know that these aren't kind of trained creatures of any sort. They're very much wild and just kind of
It's
living
not a
in
trained
this
weasel.
overgrowth.
It's a wild weasel.
It's not a trained weasel. It's a wild weasel. A wild giant weasel.
Nice. Okay. Um. Sorry. Sorry. Early mornings. Am I right? So can I like? I want to try to like. Okay, so just grab this dude. So I'm thinking it's maybe not super tame. I'm thinking high wisdom score, like a druid. Just grab this guy. So it's probably not going to be super chill. Maybe it's defensive. We're in its home. We're in its territory. What do we do? I think we need to. All right, here's the plan. Here's a plan.
Mhm.
I'm going to. It's a giant weasel though. I'm gonna take out. Um, I'm gonna take out a ration and put it on the ground, like in the clearing. Um, like a little ways out. So if it wants to get it, it's got to come out. I'm gonna set it down, and then I'm gonna back away a little bit, and I'm gonna say, we're not here to hurt you. Just let our friend go. I realize it probably
Let
can't
me-
understand common.
Give me
Just in
just
case.
1 second, and I'm like creating the scene so it's a little bit more visual.
Yeah.
And then I can move you guys to it. Okay. Bloop. Great. So basically, this would be the courtyard you guys walked on. You would have saw. Let me just throw a random token in there for Ricky. We'll make this guy. He's in the GM layer, token layer.
I hope you got a giant weasel token.
Unfortunately, I don't. Actually,
this
I probably
module
could
not-
if I used the real assets, but I just kind of quickly threw this together.
Fair.
Which I probably should have set up in advance. But anyways,
Yeah.
token. So basically, the scene would have been for everyone watching at home.
This token again.
I love this token. This is my favorite token. So Ricky's walking through here, and he's stumbling. He stumbles a little too close, and then things grab him, and he disappears into the brush. So that's what happens there. So Fuge, you then walked forward,
Okay,
and
I'm
you
gonna
put
walk to
ration.
like right here and put a ration. Probably like right there.
You-
And then I'm gonna back
Okay.
up.
So you place the ration down, and sure enough, you see the extension of two furry little arms reach out into the snack and just grab it and just go right back into the bush.
Okay, so what is this thing? Like, can I get a better look at this thing?
Go ahead and give me a nature check.
Oh, here we go.
Nature. Why is nature int? I hate this. That is a 10.
You know what? Fun fact: I actually don't have a paid asset for these weasels. Anyways,
Elegante.
that's kind of
Buy one
funny.
real
Anyways,
quick.
so a
Production
10.
quality.
Yeah, right.
They're,
I'll
they're
have chat send you $5
Modelitos
for the-
Elegante,
for the
so
token
it's
pack.
not like a whole beer. Just in case you were wondering. Sorry.
You're good. Basically, so you don't know much, but you do know that these are certifiably weasels, specifically giant weasels. You know that giant weasels tend to be more pack animals, so they aren't. You know that this weasel isn't alone, or if it is alone, then it's not a weasel, and it's not what you'd expect it to be. But it's safe to say that these giant weasels travel together. You also know that weasels, in terms of being able to fight, they tend to like to grab what they believe is the weakest opponent. But that's about all you know about weasels with that check.
Okay, well, I'm feeling pretty confident then. Wow. Um, all right. What do I got? What do I got to do with this?
I think you draw them out so I can flank them.
Yeah. Okay. I want to. All right. Here's the plan. Chat. Let me hear me out. I'm thinking I drop another ration, and then I ready a thorn whip to where when it reaches out, I just thorn whip the thing out of the bushes, pull it out.
Okay, you can try that. You can certainly try that.
The other option is to just ice knife the bushes, but I don't want to kill Mr. Drunk Man. I just don't have a reason to.
That's true.
Um.
He's just a drunk guy. He doesn't deserve to die.
All right. Let's try it. I wanna do the thing. I put down another thing of rations, like closer, probably like in the middle here,
Just like, okay.
like right in front of me. So it's got to like come out to get it. And then whenever I see this thing, I want to just like chuck the rations out, and then whenever I see hands or I see fur, I'm just gonna thorn whip this thing and pull it out of the bush.
Go ahead and give me. What kind of check is that supposed to be?
Probably like an attack roll.
Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Survival.
This one's going to be perception. So you kind of call it out, and you're kind of goading the one that you've been like tempting before, right? So you're looking out over to the right here.
Mm-hmm.
However, as you do so, you say, "Here, come on, get the food," or whatever you're saying. Kind of goading it, and as you do so, behind you comes a that dude. Got layer, token layer, tokens. This guy, he comes walking over to you on this far side, and he just reaches down from behind you to pick up the food and scurry away. So he picks it up. At this point, you would see him because he's right in front of you, and he starts to run. So you would get an attack of opportunity if you would like to, like, as he runs away, if that's what you want to do, or you have like one reaction really to this guy who just swiped this food from behind you and is running away.
Can I thorn whip him? Is that
You yes, you can try to. Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
I'd allow
That's
that.
24.
So, yep.
That's 24.
You're gonna hit. Go
What
ahead
up?
and roll damage.
You're gonna hit.
Is 3 piercing damage.
Cool. And that pulls him 5 feet in a direction. Is that correct?
10 feet closer to me.
10 feet closer to you. Okay. So since he's right next to you, I'm going to assume that he just kind of you pull him closer to you specifically, or keep him restrained. Is that the
now
idea?
it's a grapple.
Yeah, I just don't want him to be able to like run in, do the thing, run out.
Yeah, and so that's
keep it over
exactly
here.
what he was trying to do. But you stop him, and you kind of get the whip around his one foot as he tries to scurry away, and as you kind of like are fishing him back and like really holding him in place, you hear him give out a giant screech, and with that, you hear the echoing screech of other weasels in very close proximity as
Let's fight some weasels, y'all. Not what I thought I was gonna say.
So these weasels all stick their heads out of this thorn bush. You see that the one closest over here, this one, as he's actually a little bit closer, but I fucked that up. As he pops out of the bush, you see his face is red as you see him kind of like blood starts to just like drip from his jaws. As you start to see the legs of what looks like to be a butler's corpse kind of like expose itself from the brush.
Should have used ice knife.
As this one kind of like screeches out, and go ahead and roll initiative.
I can do this now.
Click your token.
So I click my token and then I click my sheet for initiative, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me make sure this works again. So I tried this last time and it didn't work.
You had it when we were playing Pathfinder.
Yeah, I know. But it didn't work last time. I don't know why. I did the same thing. It worked this time, though.
Hmm.
That's a sweet initiative.
Nice.
What are you, the 6th initiative? So
Mhm.
you need to delete your old one. You have 2 6s? What the hell?
How did I have two
Iritos, what
sixes?
did you roll?
16.
Or have you not?
I'm on there.
You had the 16. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You
on
had, you had 2 on there, that's why I asked.
Me?
Really?
Really?
Well, from the
I
last
don't
time.
think you cleared it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I was asking.
Look at this man randomly rolling dice like a plebeian.
That gives me anxiety when you just don't say anything and roll dice. I don't
Like,
think
I'm
that's
rolling
fun.
I mean, he's
initiative for
rolling
my
initiative.
guys. What the hell?
Like there isn't a dice
Don't worry, nothing
roller,
crazy's
like, right
happening,
here.
y'all.
Like when you're like, can I walk into the bar and then you just kind of like roll a die for no reason?
But like, oh, there's 4 of them. Cool. Let me just go here, go to D20, hit 4 of them, and the game's like. Blah, 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 blah.
This guy over here is Blood Weasel. Weaseloo is this guy. Walter is this guy. Weasley is this guy.
Don't name them, then I'm gonna feel bad.
I love
Well, that's
this.
why I named him.
What is wrong with you?
Weasel hunting, the fishing of the land.
Let me just name these guys so I'm
What?
better with them too.
No. I need to redo this camera setup. I'll just have to resize them and crop them again. I've decided that I want the call on my other monitor, and if I put the call on my other monitor, then it's gonna resize the window.
Okay. I got them.
Yeah.
Okay, and you did 3 damage to that guy, so let me reflect that on the token.
Anyway. Damn it, I look outside.
Changes. Okay. Lol. LOL. Okay, great. So we are starting the initiative roll. Blood Weasel, the one who's bloodied, is going to beeline it. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Over to Iritos, and he's going to roll to attack.
He wishes he
Okay.
could roll to attack.
What is your AC?
18.
Wait, why can't he?
Wait.
No. Okay,
well,
he's
no. 16.
16.
16.
So he's going to barely miss. So he's going to lunge forward at you with bloody jaws going directly at your jugular, and just before he's about to nail your neck and end your life very, very shortly, you manage to parry the blow and knock him off course. He regains his step as you hear his claws dig into the ground and dust kind of like splatters back as he hisses back at you at his failed attempt. And that's Weasley's turn. Weasley being
is
right
not
in
wrong.
front of you and no, it's just I tried to spell weasel, but I misclicked, so I was just fuck it's Weasley. So Weasley is going to look at you and he's going to hiss with his like leg kind of like still hardly bloodied from the thorn whip. And as he does, he's going to strike forward, and he's actually not going to attack. He's just going to try to grapple you. So give me an opposing strength check. 12 is the number you need to beat.
Just like a strength check.
Opposing strength, athletic. Yes, opposing strength. It's not athletics.
13. Thank you,
So
Jeff.
just barely. So as he kind of tries to go up and like lunge forward to grab you, so the scene is you parry this guy, he drags away and he hisses. This guy comes lunging at you for a second blow, and before he can grab a hold of you, you manage to just like shove him off. And as he's coming, you just push him back, and he kind of lands back on his back, flips over to his front, and again, with his fangs exposed, looking for his next meal. Iratos, your reaction.
Ooh, I'm gonna show him some fangs, dog. I'm gonna show him some fangs. All
Show,
right.
show him your fangs.
I'm gonna show him some fangs here. Fey ancestry, neat.
I didn't mean to click that.
It's, yeah.
Apologies.
All right. I'm gonna hit him with the primal savagery. Primal savagery.
Savagery.
Let me actually click
Okay.
the correct thing. So I'm gonna do a bite because I'm gonna have my I have my shield and my scimitar out at this point, but instead of using the scimitar, I'm gonna just use primal savagery and do a bite. 18.
Going to hit. Let's go ahead. Roll damage.
Boom, 4 acid damage. So my fangs start dripping with like this viscous like liquid and sizzles as it hits the ground, and then just chomp down on one of them. The
And
injured
so-
one.
So as your teeth sink into its furry body, you taste nothing but shit and just dirt from the fur of this thing as it lets out a guttural screech. It is just pure pain as you kind of just like sink your fangs deeper and deeper into it. As you chomp away, taking a chunk of it, you leave just kind of this decaying mass that continues to sear the muscle tissue and bone. As this thing, still alive though barely, hisses back at you with a very angered tone. Anything else you want to do? You got bonus?
Yeah, I think I just hiss at it. I'm not gonna use a bonus action.
So then Walter will go. Walter will lunge forward here, directly out of the brush towards Drevin at a full sprint. As it does, it stops just short at you, again trying to bring its furry hands around you to drag you into the bush. So give me a opposing strength check. Ooh, good luck.
Yeah, it does not bode well for me. It doesn't look like.
It does not look bad. Oh! You've seen that boy come. He rolled a 19. I just want you to understand. That's why I said good luck. Like, okay,
Good
okay.
luck.
So this guy
Strong.
lunges forward at you with full confidence. He doesn't think you saw him coming. He comes charging, and you see his fangs exposed as he's about to grab you and bring you into oblivion. But before that happens,
Reversal.
you think back to this time when you're on like a boat and you think of the serene nature of stuff and just like the water dropping, like as soon as it drops, your eyes go open and you identify this thing coming towards you. And as you do, you're ready. And as he comes to grab you, you easily just sidestep away as it lunges onto the ground, just again hissing at you, thinking it had the drop, but you made it look the fool as it charged towards you. And Drevin, your reaction.
So it's like on the ground past me now, like on the other
It's
square.
exactly where it still is. That was just
Oh, okay.
flavor, but
Gotcha.
it
Okay.
was it's hissing at you where it stands 5 feet away.
I'm gonna stab it with my pointy sword.
Okay, go ahead and give me the old stabby.
Do I just do I have to roll to hit, or do I just click the button on
You
my
click
sword?
the button
Okay.
on your sword
Oh,
and it'll
gotcha,
roll to
gotcha.
hit, and then you
I
click that in
remember.
chat to do damage.
Okay.
So a 10 is actually going to be a miss.
Okay.
So you stab. So this guy, he hisses after you saw him coming, and you try to stab him in response. And as he kind of looks at you, like still hissing, he just lunges backwards, kind of like mirroring your sidestep you did earlier. Again, still hissing and very, very angry that you deprived him of his dinner. Any bonus actions you want to do?
What can I do with a bonus action?
If you don't have something that's explicitly a bonus, what are you, a rogue?
Yeah.
You don't really have much in terms of bonus actions.
Yeah.
So nothing, unless you want to
Yeah.
move at risk of option or attack of opportunity. But.
Nah, I'm good.
So that goes to Weasley, which is this guy. So as you're engaged with this guy over there, this one's going to lunge forward out of the brush to attempt to grapple you from behind. So give me another opposing strength check. Okay. So as you're in the depth of combat here with this first weasel, you parry the blow. You're about to stab at it, and in fact, before you can get your stab on this first weasel that you're going to do, what actually happened was you didn't miss. This weasel lunged back and grabbed your arms, kind of putting you almost like full Nelson, like totally just grappling you, interrupting your stab, so you kind of miss that. And now this one has control of you from your back. You can hear and feel the breath on your neck as this thing opens its mouth ready to attack. But before that happens, it will go to Blood Weasel's turn. And Blood Weasel, which is this guy over here, sees Iritos, who deflected his first blow. And he's actually going to just straight up attack. Okay, 6 is going to miss. So he's going to lunge forward, again, trying to bite at you for biting into his offspring. And as you kind of just like totally dodge the blow, you hear him again screech at you, or maybe to Weasley to do something. So Weasley is going to go to him. He listens to the screech. Kind of like issues out a little bit of a chittering himself, and he is going to attack outright again and not grapple. A 16 hit. You had 16 AC, is that right?
Matt meets AC. Yeah.
All right.
Does it hit if it meets AC? I can
If
never
it meets,
remember.
it beats.
Meets it
Yeah,
beats?
that's
Yep.
how it works.
Okay.
So he is going to.
Come on, hit me.
He's going to hit you for 5 damage, and go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Wait, what? Hold on. We weren't talking about all that. How's a fucking 23?
Ooh.
How's a 23, bro? What you got? That's a crit. What you want?
Okay, so you're totally fine on that. But
Did it
you
say
still
5
take
damage?
5 damage. You still take 5 damage.
All
Yes.
right. Fun fact, by the way, chat. If you're using this on your token right here for your character, you can, if this is set up properly, like this is my health, right? So you do bar, and then like that's my health right there. You can just put like -5, and it'll do the math for you. Yeah.
Math.
Yeah.
Oh, today I learned. Cool.
Tokens,
So that
super good.
Iritosa goes to you.
Okay, I am going to. This would be the point. If I was playing a barbarian, I would use my rage, but instead, I will not do that because I'm a level 1 druid and I don't have anything that's comparable. Although I do have spells, so I guess there's that. But I'm going to Primal Savagery, the one that I've been chopping on.
Okay.
Where you at? Right here.
That's going to miss.
It's a miss. And then I'm going to use Hungry Jaws. So
Hungry
once
Jaws.
per short or long
Thirsty.
rest, as a bonus action, I can make a bite attack. If it hits, I get temp HP. Here's my bite attack.
Okay.
14.
That will hit. That will hit.
All right, so he takes
Ooh.
3 piercing damage, and I regain temporary hit points equal to my Constitution modifier, which is +3.
Sweet. So as
Wow.
you kind of like you do your primal savagery, so your fangs start to drip with that like acidic poison disease kind of thing, and you like bite at him, but he manages to lunge away. But as he does that, you kind of played him, right? You knew where he was going to dodge to, so you bite again, and as you do, you sink your jaws directly in the throat, feeling the larynx completely collapse as the jugular starts to get cut open from your jaws, as blood starts to pour from your mouth and over this thing's body as it falls limp at your feet. So he is dead.
Nom, 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 nom. I'm
I'm
utterly
Nice.
emotionless.
And as its
Chomp
body
away.
falls lifeless, you see the one next to you seem to get very, very angry at that. It doesn't like its offspring dying. So that's
Oh, that was the
any
kid!
bonus
Oh
action.
no, I don't feel bad.
You're fighting a family of 4 right now. But yeah. So any actions after that? That was your bonus action. So
That was it.
movement, a movement. Okay. Walter's
I'm
gonna
walking
go.
away from this thing. Don't you try to bait me into that.
Yeah, I'm just giving you every option. So Walter, he's just going to flat out attack you. Okay, he's going to hit. Wait, sorry, he gets advantage. So let's see if he crits. Nope. Okay, he just hits. So he's going to attack you with a bite, Dylan.
No.
Okay, he's going to hit you for 3 damage, and then give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Where's the? Oh, here we go.
Okay, you fail.
Yikes.
Da-da-da-dum. So you'll take an additional 4 damage from that bite. So 3
Not
plus
in
4,
good
7
shape.
total damage.
Yeah.
Great. So that's that. Man, you got pretty unlucky on that second roll. So that's Walter's turn. He's pretty set. So he lunges forward as you're grappling, kind of like wrestling with this guy behind you, and he takes a big old bite at your side. And as he does, you feel this burning sensation kind of like radiating from the wound. And it just does not feel so good. Like you've been stabbed, you've been shot, but like, man, this thing burns and it does not feel good. And it hurts for 4 damage. But Drevin, what is your response to that? So technically, you're still grappled, just for the record.
Yeah. So what can I do? I've never really been in a grappling situation in this game.
You can oppose the grapple by doing a strength check to try to, or sorry, strength saving throw to break free from it.
Okay.
Against this guy's DC.
And that's pretty much all I can do in this situation, right? Like, I mean.
That would be your main action, yes, but you could
Yeah.
still do a bonus action and movement after that.
Okay. Try that. So strength saving throw?
Correct. Okay, you save. So you break free from the grasp.
Okay.
And you still have a bonus in movement.
So if I move like back or in any direction, does that propose or create an attack of opportunity?
Correct.
It does.
I mean, unless you do. Wait, disengage action isn't in 5e, is it? My thing in
Yes, it's an
Pathfinder.
action.
And that's a formal action, not a bonus
it's
action.
an
Only
action.
rogues get it's a bonus
Correct.
action.
Correct.
Got it. Okay,
I'm a
yeah. So
rogue.
you are a rogue.
At 2, you get that.
At 2.
Oh,
Yeah, but you're not
damn.
level 2 yet. You will be after this, but not this. Yeah.
Part of your
If I
content.
make it after this.
Yeah, if you can make it through this. So that would be your move.
Yeah, there's not really anything I can do. I think I don't think it's worth it to make a movement because I'll die. So yeah, I guess take a defensive stance or something. I don't know.
Get out of between them. Come stand by me.
But if I do that, that'll get an attack of opportunity, right?
If you use your action to disengage.
He already used his action to break
I
free.
already used my action. I
Oh,
don't have
well.
anything. I got a bonus action.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do with that at level 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Um,
Yeah, I'm just
Cool.
gonna
So Weasley's gonna
hunker
go.
down.
Weasley, pissed off that you broke free from his hold, is going to attack,
Mhm.
and he's going to miss. So as you break free from it, he thinks he can claw you pretty easily as you are stumbling back to compose. But as he's about to, you manage to just like parry his hand off with your free hand, and you just like knock it out before he can like really swipe at you to deal some damage. And so you deflect that. So that goes to Blood Weasel. Blood Weasel, now enraged that his offspring is dead, is going to attack Fuge, and he's going to 15 is a miss. So he's going to lunge forward with a bloody fervor, and you see his mouth start to foam as he comes out and start to attack you. You easily sidestep that attack as well as he lunges forward and misses with his jaws just inches away from your face. And that is his turn. Weasley is dead, so Iratos, that goes to you.
I am going to commit a murder again.
Murder.
Actually, what I think I'm gonna do here, because I think this will work out better. I want to Thorn Whip this Weasel, the one to the
one right
left
next to
of
you?
Dreven. Yeah,
Okay.
I want to
yeah.
Thorn Whip him and pull him 2 squares straight up.
Towards you?
Yeah, towards me.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll.
20.
Oh, you hit. That's it.
3 piercing.
3 piercing. Okay. And you wanted to pull him towards you, right?
Yeah.
So he's like directly 5 feet in front of you, or just like 1 square over?
1 square to the right, just below his. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I think like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
Cool.
one,
Up 1.
right?
Still up 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was just letting your other stream catch up to what was going on. Okay, cool. So you
Yeah,
pull him over there,
perfect.
and you drag him there easily. Yeah, you slide right over. He's as you like pull him over. That's the sound weasels make, right? Anyways,
Definitely.
It is now. I couldn't tell you, bud.
he took some damage from that. You see a little blood from your thorn whip, but he's
Yeah.
mostly fine. That goes
Okay.
to Walter, who is.
Oh, and for the record, I was looking at stuff, and I can't actually have my scimitar out while I'm like casting stuff. I have some mana components, and I don't have the warcaster thing, so I do not have my scimitar on me. Well, it's
Cool.
pocketed somewhere. I don't know.
It's holstered, whatever.
Yeah.
Counted. Walter is gonna go, and Walter is going to attack you again. He smells blood in the water.
I love that song.
Ooh, does a 15 hit Dylan? Does a 15 hit Dylan?
Where's my? I have a 14 armor class, so yeah.
So he does hit. This one's gonna
Wait.
hit.
So leather armor just gives a +1. Yeah, it's a hit.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a hit, and we have 5 damage, and then we're going to need a con save.
Damn. Yeah, I meant -2.
So you are unconscious. So this guy comes out at you, Dylan, and you try to deflect it, but it just like as it's clawing at your face, like the pummel of its like palm just like smacks you right on the button, and you go down with a crunch. Not a crunch, but you hit the ground pretty hard and pretty gnarly, and you are unconscious.
And thus ended the saga of Dreven's Fleet Sloop.
I mean, you're not dead. You're just unconscious.
Pretty unconscious though.
Cool. So that is its move. Dreven, give me a death saving throw.
What's that?
Let's roll a d20.
Well,
from the die roller.
There's actually a button I think you can press. Death save.
There is,
so that's
right.
1 strike against you. If you get 3 of those, you are dead. So that's 1 against.
Oh, I wish I had healing word.
Weasley's the guy you just got over here. He's pretty mad that you
Died.
grappled him or like pulled him
Oh.
towards you, so he's just going to
Oh.
attack you, Fuge. And he's going to miss with a 7. So he's going to attack at you, just, and you again easily. You're starting to like telegraph how these guys are coming at you, and you just like deflect against it with your shield. And so that's his turn. Blood Weasel is still in his blind rage, and he is going to attack you, Fuge, with a 17, and that's going to hit. However, he is only going to do 2 damage, and a con saving throw.
Alright, so that 2 damage is going to come out of my temp HP for my lizard bite thingy. Con saving throw is a 17.
17, so you succeed. So no worries there.
Nice.
Cool. And that's Blood Weasel, Iratos. You gotta bring this home, buddy. You gotta do something. You got 3 mobs against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I gotta say, man, I was lining up an ice knife is what I was gonna go for here. Try to just get some AoE, but now I'm thinking like maybe I need to save it for a cure wounds. I got a cure wounds in the pocket, but I only got 1 spell slot. So it's a tough choice here because I could pick
Do you
you up
have
and then
any
you just immediately
medicine?
go back down. Nah, that's not a thing. That's the other game.
You can't do like a
No healer feat?
check?
No,
Oh yeah,
it's
like
not
healing
nope.
feet or anything?
We are
No?
level 1,
Oh.
my dude. We probably are gonna
Mhm.
die here.
No.
So I got 1 temp HP, so I'm at 7. There's a very significant chance that these, like, if all 3 of these dudes hit me, that we're just dead right here.
You're really at the mercy of the dice at this point.
Actually, yeah, that's 100% true. We're at the mercy of the dice.
Like,
So at
very
this
much
point,
so.
honestly, I might as well just go for broke and do the ice knife.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well. Why not? Honestly,
Cure
from my
Wound- I can
perspective,
still
you
get
guys are in a
global.
very grim situation.
I can still get globaled from like full. So, ooh, the other option is what about entangle? Oh, yeah, entangle might work. How big is this? 20 foot? Around a point. So it's 1. It's 5, 10, 15, 20. And then 5, 10, 15, 20. Nah, we're gonna go out with a bang. I'm gonna ice knife the bottom one and see if I can't pop both of them.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Alright, so here's the
Incoming
spell.
critical
Here's what it
miss.
does. So it hits the it's a ranged spell attack against the bottom one. On a hit, it's gonna take 1d10 piercing, and then hit or miss, it's
Just
1d
dex save to do 2d6 full damage.
2d6, yeah.
On a dex save, though.
Okay.
So here's the attack roll. 14.
14 to hit does hit. So go ahead and roll damage.
Alright, so that's gonna be 9 piercing.
Right, and then 8 cold damage on the splatter.
Yes.
Does that calculate that?
Yes.
Okay, and they all get dex saving throws on the splatter. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a DC.
Except for the dude you hit. So you hit the bottom guy, right?
Yeah.
So let's just do that first. So you throw the ice knife into that weasel. As you pierce its heart with it, you hear it give one last squeak before it just keels over dead. And as it pierced the heart, it hits the rib cage, shattering outward, sprinkling in a 5-foot direction.
Yes, I realize I'm within 5 feet, if that's what that pause was.
So dex save.
Oh, you lagged a little bit there. What was that?
Oh, give me a dex save. Based on your own DC, this might splash to you.
14. Okay.
So 14, you save, right?
Yeah.
does
It's
a
it's
does a
save for
13
no
save?
damage.
Oh.
It's not half damage on save. It's no damage on
Okay,
save.
got it.
So
Is 13 a save as well? What's your DC?
meets beats, I guess. 13.
Meets beats. Okay, yep. So you kill this bottom one outright. However, as it shatters, you kind of like cover your face, blocking kind of the shards from really doing any damage. But you also see that this weasel, the enraged one, through its rage, still has enough sense to kind of flip around really quick as the shards kind of dissipate on its back without actually cutting it, as it flips back to face you once more.
Dang.
Walter is still the one. Oh, so you are downed, Drevin.
Mm-hmm.
Walter, after hearing the ice knife, comes forward over here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And he's going to make an attack on you. What's your name?
No! No, I
Iratos.
guess not the weasels.
Okay. He's going to bite forward with a ferocious clamping of his jaws. However, through the drama of throwing your ice knife, you saw him approach and you managed to telegraph the attack, which you've been dodging pretty nimbly so far. So he misses. Drevin, give me another dex, or death save.
Woo!
Come on, give me big Papa 20. Come on. That's a 15.
So
Ooh.
you save on that one. You save on
That's
that one.
close.
So that's
Save.
one
That's good.
success.
That's good.
How many
So
times do I have to succeed?
3.
you have
3
to
either
succeed or
way.
fail 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So Weasley is Weasley dead? No,
Come on.
Weasley was the one who just wait. What just happened?
One of those guys is dead.
Weasley's
Definitely.
dead. Weasley's the one who just died. Okay. That's why I named him over here so I could reference. Great. So Weasley is dead. Blood Weasel. He's still pretty peeved that you are fighting him. So what he's going to do? Oh no, he has to attack again. Be smart. Okay. So 12. 12 is going to miss. He man, you really telegraphed this guy's fighting stance. You see him every time. He's taken a few steps back before he lunges forward for the killing blow, and every time it's a simple sidestep to dodge as this guy is biting and biting. Its jaws keep clamping in front of you, inches away from your face, barely, narrowly avoiding every murderous bite.
They just can't get through my
So
tough crocodile hide.
you a tough boy, Iratos. That's why you get to go on your turn right now.
Alright, alright. We out a special we out a flashy things here, so we're just gonna hit him with the primal savagery. We're gonna get him with the bites, with the acid bites. I'm gonna go for the one on my right that's been there for a hot minute.
Okay, the enraged one. Go ahead.
23.
23 to hit. That's gonna hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's a 6. That is 6 acid.
Okay, so you don't get the +5, right?
No, yeah, that's if I had advantage. It's the thing, but yeah.
Shame.
know,
So you bite into this guy and you sink your teeth in solidly into its shoulder, right below the neck. It lets out a screech, a guttural screech, as you tear out part of its shoulder and blood starts to ooze out of its side. It stumbles backward barely, but composes itself only hardly, as it seems to be losing blood at a rapid rate and does not seem to have much fight left in it. However, in a sign of defiance, he growls at you with a menacing snarl one final time. And then it goes to Walter. Walter is not enraged, and will do what weasels do. He's going to grapple you, so give me a opposing strength check. 14 is the number to beat.
Ooh, that's a 5.
Thanks.
That's not good.
That's 5, chat.
So
That's 5. It's
he,
not good.
as you bite into this the other weasel and he gives out that guttural screech, this weasel comes up, slithers beneath your feet, and up your back, grappling you, restraining you while your mouth is still on the other weasel, as it slowly gives you the defiant snarl. Drevin, give me a death saving throw.
What are we
Don't
at?
worry about the grapples.
We're at
You'll
1
be
and 1,
fine.
right?
Trust me.
1-1 right now. Yep.
Yeah, 1-1.
1-2 now.
Ooh.
Is that
Um,
2 succeeds and 1 loss?
No, it's
no,
not.
that's 2
It's
failures. You need a
Well-
10 or higher to succeed.
Shit.
So you could very much die on your next turn.
Woo!
So the Blood Weasel, with his very little strength left, is going to attack you, Fuge, at advantage. I rolled a 1 and a 2! How? You're supposed to die, Fuge! So he misses this one. Despite you being grappled, you still telegraphed his attack and managed to move your head to the left as the jaws clamp shut inches away from the guy grappling you on your back. Wow. Okay. That goes to you, Eratos. You have a strength. Give me a strength to break free.
Can I argue for biting while still restrained? Like, if they're wrapping me up, can I just bite them?
Um,
Does that seem reasonable to you, although mechanically probably not allowed?
I would say no, even from a story context, because this guy has you grappled from behind, so it's
Okay,
hard to
that's
bite
fair.
him in a
So,
like reasonable way.
Are 2 of them still alive, or
It's
is
a
only
7.
1 alive?
2 of them are alive. One's barely alive. The other one's still very much alive.
I thought he had one like in his mouth.
No, that was the one he bit, and I just kind of flavor texted the scenes together.
Oh.
But like, so he bites them, but it's not a grapple check when he bites them. Uses that ability. It's just a
Yeah.
bite, and then he lets go, dealing quite a bit of damage.
Okay.
Rip a
I
chunk
mean,
out of him.
he dealt like enough to leave that guy with 1 or bloodied significantly.
Blah,
You should
blah,
use
blah.
your crocodile death roll attack.
I can only do that once.
Wait, do you actually have a crocodile death roll?
No, he's
Yeah,
just
the
crocodile
feeding
though, but I
frenzy.
think is that
I
really what
thought
it
you
is?
had like an
Oh.
actual ability. I'm like, oh shit, that's
Well,
crazy.
yeah, that's what the feeding frenzy is. It gives me temp HP. I just like bite a chunk out of my enemy and get temp.
I was
HP
talking
for
about
it.
death roll like crocs do in the wild. Anyways,
Right,
so
where they
you're
bite
still-
onto it and then they
give me
roll,
a strength check.
around it.
Oh, you did.
It's
It's a 7. That is
Not ideal. Yeah, that's what I
enough,
was
but
thinking.
enough to break free.
Wait, what?
He rolled
I'll
a
take
4.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, that's
So
my
just-
action to break free, right?
That would be
Yeah.
your action, correct?
Perfect.
So kind of to
Mhm.
narrate the scene, as this guy's you bite the dude and he grapples you and you struggle free very easily. You break free from it. Drop the dude you bit, who kind of recomposes, snarls, and then like now you see the other one behind you also kind of like now the two of them are working very much pack tactic style. So they are sitting there in front of you.
Oh, wait,
Great.
hang on. You can still attack while restrained.
Can you at disadvantage?
Yeah,
Oh,
attack
okay,
rolls against the
then-
creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
I would prefer to
you
not
can
have
do the attack.
disadvantage, but
We can retcon that. Go ahead and do the attack, and but you obviously at disadvantage.
Do I get to go?
Well, you definitely can go.
So that's a 9 with disadvantage.
My video quit again. I
Oh,
need to get a
I'll
new
grab it.
camera.
Oh, with disadvantage. I was like, wait, you rolled a
Sorry.
25 every time out of 9. Yeah, with disadvantage. So that's going to be a miss. So how we played it out before is how it played out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, so wait, hold on a second. Technically, with an attack, that means you can't you're not breaking free. So
Correct.
just making sure.
Yep.
Okay, so you are still grappled then.
Yeah.
Great. So that goes to Walter.
My thinking here
Walter-
is that if I break out, they're just gonna grapple me again anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
You're not terribly wrong. These are very simple creatures. And reading their tactics isn't too difficult. So Walter's gonna go. He has you restrained, and I believe he will be able to attack you as well at advantage. So this could kill a Fuge.
I have concerns.
16. If it hits, it beats. If
That
it meets, it
hits,
beats.
yep,
Right? You have a
yep.
16. So that's gonna hit. He's gonna hit you with 4 damage and then a con saving throw.
We're down to 3, chat. We're down to 3 health. Con saving
Woo.
throw. I don't think we get out of this. That is a
Ooh.
that one. That is a 4.
All right, this will be the D4 right here that determines whether or not you all die in this moment or not.
What is it?
Roll it. Wait. Roll it on stream.
Is it a
Roll it
4?
on stream.
Is it 4?
Roll it on stream.
I just rolled
Oh,
the dice.
Oh, fuck, I can't
I'm
read
carrying
it. Nobody
over.
can read that.
Well, shit. I'm looking at the stream. I'm trying to figure this
It's
out.
too small. Nobody can read it.
and
It's the
that
bottom number, you muppet. That like
is the end of
It's-
Saltmarsh.
It's a 4. Murder
so
by weasels. D&D,
Hmm.
everybody.
as you try to fight off that last weasel, you feel the jaws sink into your body, and despite that not being the killing blow, you feel a quick burning infection as it starts to eat away at your body. The toxic shock from it alone knocks you unconscious. And then for the brief second that you regain conscious, you realize that you look over to Drevin, who has been eaten asshole first, as
Why
his
would-
body
why?
lays lifeless, staring at you. The
Why?
cold
Too much.
tone of his eyes looking into yours as you feel the final bite eat into your asshole.
No, too much.
Killing
too much.
you.
X card. Too much.
Killing you outright as well. And that is the end of your adventures in Saltmarsh as the two of you lie bleeding in front of the mansion on the hill.
Dang.
I gotta say.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I
I didn't think you guys were gonna die in that, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, I literally didn't do anything because I
You
got
got
flanked
fucked.
at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then I got
Oh, you got
I
utterly
dodged the
destroyed.
first grapple and I missed my attack and then got grappled and just like eaten alive.
So here's the thing about 5e like low level encounters. They're incredibly
They're
deadly.
dangerous.
They're incredibly swingy and deadly because you don't have a lot of options and there's not a
Yeah.
lot of things that you can do other than just like I rolled a hit.
I think
I rolled a hit
Even-
with a
And the
very
dice
small
were not in
modifier.
your favor in this one, I'll be honest. The
No.
dice really screwed you guys over. Like in every
I
attempt,
got
like
I
it
got
was
lucky
rough.
on a bunch of those attack rolls.
yeah, for sure.
You
To
got
me,
lucky, Drevin got fucked.
Yeah, the other thing is like grappling is literally like the worst thing that could happen to me because that's like my weakest stat.
And that's unfortunate because these things' main thing that they do is grapple, and like you kind of got screwed over in that. I mean, like honestly, I think if there's one tactic I should have done a little better was have just the one steal Drevin away, but I thought that would have
Mm.
screwed you guys too hard. So then
Mm.
I was like, okay, I'll just have the other one attack Fuge and hope for the best. But that's too bad.
Yeah.
You guys died on this adventure, but that's not to say that the secrets of Saltmarsh have been discovered. So you guys can come back at it maybe with a different pairing from Saltmarsh. Perhaps those denizens of the empty net or from the Wicker Goat who have a vested interest in Eleander and the happenings of Manistrad. So there's still many secrets to unfold here at the marshes of Saltmarsh, but for the adventure of Drevin and Iratos, the adventure stops here.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm really sad I didn't get to use like a single one of my thief skills in the entire 3 sessions we played.
Damn.
Or
I
get
mean,
any
to
thief
be
skills.
fair, if we want to be fair in this,
Yeah.
you guys could have approached this encounter a little more tactically. Like you knew the thing grabbed the dude into the brush, so you could have like done something towards the brush instead of leading it out. And I think the fact that they were surrounding you already from the beginning was probably a poor choice of positioning.
I mean, but
but
there's
I mean,
only
that's
two of
hindsight's
us,
20/20,
and this is
right?
like
You know?
not
Yeah.
like
So-
this game's not. I can't imagine this module is designed for 2 people.
Yeah, that was the other kind of thing, like having
And-
the team, like explicitly it says four weasels in there.
To be honest, I think this team comp would work really well if we were like level 3. but because it's exactly what you're saying. At like level 1, it's kind of tough because like 1, I have really low HP, and then like just having a little more HP would have made that encounter
What's your
doable,
max
right?
HP? How much HP do you have?
I have 10, but like literally the first
Oh, I have
attack brought me
11.
down to 3, and then the second attack brought me to -2. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so I only
they
have
rolled a little high on their
11. I got effectively 3 more from the temp HP from
Yeah.
the
Right.
feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
honestly,
I think
like now that I'm looking at it, that's huge.
it's
Mhm.
massive.
Mhm.
I think
Like-
if you had one more person in there, I think this fight would have been
Sure.
one. You guys could have swayed that pretty easily.
Yeah.
I might just need to adjust some of these moving forward to
Mhm.
cater for 2 people a little bit more. I thought like because there's supposed to even be extras on this, I cut those out and just went with the 4 weasels. But maybe I should have just done 2 weasels and then the extras.
Yeah.
And but we live and we
Well,
learn.
I think another thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
You're good.
it was just no. I mean, I guess I didn't fully grasp the situation of how many weasels there were, because like I know we baited one out, and then the second time he tried to bait, like a second one came out, but I didn't really guess that there would be like 4,
Yeah.
and then I was flanked like immediately, which didn't help either. Or not that it really mattered with the flanking; it was just the grappling failures.
I just want to point this out, and for the
Mhm.
record, I've only ever had TPKs with the 2 of you guys in my party. So I don't know about that. I'm just saying, I've run many sessions.
When did
in
we
the
get
OT.
TPK
The
before?
last time we played with your Warforged or whatever, remember that?
The flail snail that I
Uh,
purposefully killed
The
myself
flail
on.
snail, the
Yeah.
adventures of the flail snail that no one else has ever had a problem with, that you guys got murder
That was
fucked on.
just
Oh, I knew what I was
Fuge.
doing.
Wait. Did
I knew
I
it.
did
No,
I
you
die
didn't
in
die.
that too?
No.
I didn't die.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Fuge reflected the bolts at
Yeah.
himself.
I
Killed
Yeah.
himself.
chaos
That was just
bolted
unlucky though.
a flail
That was
snail,
like
told it to stop
spontaneous
resisting
combustion.
arrest, and then chaos bolted my head off.
And you knew that it did that. That was the other thing. Like you
Oh,
knew that
yeah.
it reflected magic.
Oh yeah, no, it was just
Oh,
stupid. I saw the opportunity and I was like,
Because
but
Fuge likes to
apparently you're gonna
YOLO
have
when he
to,
plays
though.
with me.
Yeah.
Which I think
just
makes
like to
the
have
game
a
more
good
fun,
time,
to be
right?
honest.
Well, okay, so to be fair, on the other character whose name I can't remember, the Eldritch Knight.
XP. Oh yeah.
The Eldritch Knight, way more reasonable.
Yeah.
A quarter of the time.
Yeah. A quarter of the time.
Well, okay, like 3/4 of the time.
I like that one. That one's cool. Yeah, like honestly, if we didn't have that guy in the party on that game, like we would have lost so many different times.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of why I went Eldritch Knight. I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna be a fighter, and I'm just not gonna die, and I'm gonna kill everything. And if it comes down to it, like, I can finish the fight. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. And like my cleric is pretty tanky in that scenario.
Yeah.
So that helps me out a lot. Because apparently I can't.
What was the thing we did? Oh, you put what was it? Sanctuary on me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it?
And then I was taking the dodge action, and that robot had to keep hitting me because I was the last person to do the thing.
Mhm.
That was good times.
Yeah,
Damn.
that was a cool campaign. We should do that one again.
I know. What's his name? Agron was looking to join for future sessions, so maybe we can have a
he texted
party
me
of 3.
too.
But, no. He was like, "What mic and what
That's
video
exactly
camera
what
are you
he
using?"
said to me too.
Yeah. I'm like, dude,
Well, okay, well,
I'm using my headset and my MacBook. Like, what the heck?
So
yeah.
Well, yeah, actually, that's the thing we can talk about. So if anybody is interested in doing something like this, it like you don't need to do the production stuff that I've like done to set up the stream. You don't need any of this. Like honestly, all you need is, you don't even need a camera necessarily. If you have one, that's nice. Usually when we play, like not for the show, when we play on our own, we don't really use cameras. And we've been doing that for years, and it's fine. Some people prefer them, some people don't. But a simple like laptop is all you need. A headset is preferable. A headset's preferable, but if you really need to, if people are just like aware of it, you could use push to talk. Push to talk and like some headphones. That'd be fine too. Um, just get on Roll20, make an account. For the most part, you don't really need to even buy anything. There's a lot of stuff that's just like free and available. Like if you wanna start like with something simple, there's I believe a D&D basics. I forget exactly what it's called, but there's a D&D like starter kit that they just put out recently. That comes with like a pared down version of the rules that's a lot easier to learn for 5th edition. And then it even comes with the options of doing what do you call them? Uh, sidekicks. I forget if that's the actual term that they use, but sidekicks. They're like simpler versions of characters that you can make in like a couple of minutes, and they're super easy to understand. And if you want to like let's say like partner up with somebody who has played before, you can play like a sidekick for them, and while you're still filling out the rules and kind of deciding on whether or not you want to commit to it. And then that product for 5e has rules for converting that into an actual character with the full class and all that other stuff. So if you're looking to get into it, it's super easy to get into. I highly recommend Roll20. There's a lot of reasons right now why you would probably not want to get a large group of people together to play in person. So Roll20 is an easy solution for that. For our call and what we're doing on here, on like for the video sharing and the voice and all that, we're using Discord. A Discord server, super easy to set up too. Just download the web client or the application, and you can just start your own server. It's not hard. You just do it, and then you just send people a link to it. They join. You hit video call. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's not hard. You can also use Discord to post about like, hey, when we want to meet next. Hey, I had an idea for this. You can use it to coordinate and talk about your games and stuff in between sessions. Super good, super amazing tools. I highly recommend all of those things for anybody who's looking to get into tabletop gaming online. They're all great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And go play Baldur's Gate 3 because that game's amazing.
Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, coming up, we got about 20 minutes to kill. So, I've been like spitballing what we want to do because a certain somebody is going to be gone for the next 5 weeks. When we come back, if we have people who want to join, I think looking into adding another 2 people to the cast and doing 4 people would be fantastic. So those of you in chat who have the Discord, if you would like to message me on Discord if you'd be interested in playing with us, you have 5 weeks to figure out whether or not you want to join Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and we can start and build your own characters and all that. In the meantime, I have decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing Ironsworn. Ironsworn is another tabletop role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons, but this one has a variety of different modes of play. I've talked about it a bunch on the stream, but I'm not sure how much I've talked about it on this show in particular. So since this Ironsworn is going to be, I shouldn't say replacing, but filling in for a mid-season break. Basically what Ironsworn is it's a game like D&D, but there are a lot of tables and stuff to roll on that have rather than just like yes no answers to like resolving a situation, it'll have more like prompts. So you might roll something and the result be, instead of like a miss, a result might be something like there's a complication, and then there's a table that you could roll on for complications. and it'll give you a list of like 20 different things that could happen. You roll on that, and it'll be like a forgotten enemy comes calling or something. And it's a very like what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very like yes and way of doing this, and you don't need a DM to do it because of all the tables. So I'll be playing that. First
You can do it
episode will
without a
be, yeah, you can do it without a DM. So like what Muffin's doing right now for this, where he's basically like leading the story, and we're kind of exploring the world and the setting that he's setting up. You play
They
it
have this whole
without that
book and
role.
cards.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can play it without that. Because what Muffin's doing is, if you guys aren't familiar, what he's doing is a lot of work. It's a lot more work specifically for if you're doing something that's not a like pre-generated module. So he's got a bunch of stuff that's basically telling him like, here's background on some NPCs, here's like rough guidelines of how certain scenes should go, things like that. So like published modules tend to have a little bit more like structure to them and give you a little bit of guidance. Sometimes that can be helpful, sometimes it's not, depending on how the
I can
players
speak
go
to
with
that a
it.
little bit too. Like speaking to it for Ghosts of Saltmarsh specifically, like how I think Ghosts of Saltmarsh specifically is a little bit more unique than some of the other modules, which are much more concrete in terms of like, this is everything that's going on in this town and place. This is when they progress to this, when your players progress here, this is how you should play it. And Ghost of Saltmarsh has that, and that's what we were really kind of starting with. This Weasel was really the main adventures of the Ghost of Saltmarsh. Like, this is the bread and butter story. But I think what Saltmarsh does great is that they provide you the town. And for the first 2 episodes, we were just playing the town, and there's so much happening in there, and the book gives you a lot of source material that really builds this world around you. So then it becomes really the DM's job, and this is kind of the thing, to interpret what that world really looks like to your players. So it'll tell you, hey, there's a jailer. His name is X, or I think it was Kubrick or something like that, and he's a traditionalist or a loyalist, or it gives you an idea of the faction, so you can conceptualize who this person is and their status in that society. But outside of that, it doesn't give you much wiggle room. So, for example, that encounter you guys had at the first day, and I'm not giving away all my secrets on this, but like that encounter in itself with the people shackled at the feet is not built into the book. That's something I added in for flavor for when you encountered the jailer, to help you understand who this person is, who Taft is, his deputy, which is outlined, of being this more competent fool who's willing to be bribed, but then you have this upright sheriff, Kubrick, who is this other factor there. And it doesn't tell you explicitly, hey, this is how you need to present him and portray him. It just tells you, hey, he's a traditional sheriff, no nonsense,
Yeah, it gives
so
you
to
like bullet
speak.
points.
And then you color that in as the DM how you see. So another DM taking the same module, that same encounter of going to the gates and into the barracks, or to the jailer's home, or jailer's jail, for lack of a better word. That encounter series may be very different from DM to DM, and that's the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons, is that like, I've created this character with a Taft, who's been knocked over from the guards he's guarding. He's clearly incompetent, and that encounter in itself isn't difficult, but it does give players the ability to flex their abilities, with the aspect that all the people are fumbling over each other. So it gives you this much more immersive sense of existence, which I think is super unique to the game. Which, speaking back to our pre-game conversation of like why Divinity and Baldur's Gate and all that are so good, is because like you have that agency to kind of manipulate the story in a unique and creative, almost game-breaking ways. And D&D specifically, I think, does that better than any game, and that's why I think among most gamers, like, tabletop RPGs are their preference, is because it's a pen and paper game of what we want video games to be. And at the point that video games can catch up to that, and I think Baldur's Gate does a very good job of getting closer to that, that's the more fun gamers will have as a result, because if 50 people play the game, you have 50 different stories that you're playing, and I think that that is just amazing in itself.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree on the point of like tabletop role playing games in general being probably the most like free and open ended like game that you could play with people. I just think in general like it just is, because what it comes down to is it's group storytelling with a set of rules that keep it from being it's a set of rules that keep it from being 100% predictable.
Or at least make believe 100%. Well, I make believe is probably the wrong word. Maybe predictable.
Yeah, well,
but,
so I think what it does is it adds a level of like,
structure.
I mean, it adds a level of structure in terms of like, okay, your character can do this, your character can do that, but when it comes down to it, the real mechanism is rolling a die, right? So it's adding that element of chance. It's adding
RNG,
that,
yeah.
it's adding that unpredictable nature to a story. Because we could be sitting here and telling this whole story, the three of us, and if we never rolled a set of die, then it's basically just whatever we agree it is. The whole story is just whatever we agree it is. You might have a plot twist, I might have a plot twist, I might have something, but if there's not a way to like take a chance and say, hey, I want to attack this thing, I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I don't know if it's better if it should work, or if it's better if it's not. Like, would this story have been better if we had actually killed these things and figured out what was going on and then like got our gold? Would that have been a better story than us like dying horribly to blood weasels, mongooses, mongwai,
No weasels,
no monkeys.
You know, like, would that have been better? I don't know. Did I see that coming? Sure didn't. Sure didn't, bud. So as a player, for me, that's more exciting knowing that even going into this scene that's possible. It's possible that like going into this threatening scene that these characters might just die. Like this could actually be the end of this, and that makes it way more interesting. It's way more compelling. If we went into this knowing that like I don't really have anything to worry about, I probably would have zoned out a little bit and just been like, yeah, huh, okay, yep.
There's no fear when you're invincible, but when you know you can die, it's a very real fear. You start to make smarter decisions and not YOLO decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
But we still make the YOLO decisions.
I mean, sometimes you got to keep it spicy, right?
Well, I'll say this much. I think, thinking about myself as a DM over the past several years, from once I've started to where I am now, I've actually done like quite a bit of like digging in and research of like, good tactics and what are things players enjoy typically, the average player enjoys typically. And from it, I learned about this book called The Monsters Know What They're Doing. And basically, it's a great resource for emerging DMs, because what at least my problem was looking back early on, I very much wanted to side with the players and not wanting to let, like, I would fudge dice. I'd fudge dice all the time. Like, not only that, I'd throw my NPC in a position. I'm like, oh, okay, if I put him here, he's going to get nuked and he's going to die. Great. Let's give the players a bone. But I think in more recent days, it's like, like the two goblins who are working together aren't going to just run out like madmen. They're going to have cover and shoot you from a distance. And oh, you're the lowest bleeding guy. Yeah, they're going to target your ass because like you're bleeding all over the place. They're going to hit you and they're going to knock you out.
Yeah, they're goblins.
And
goblins are assholes.
And they know what they're doing. Goblins know what they're doing. And that's kind of the premise of the book, is that it's very much like, when you think about an encounter, it helps you design it with the aspects of like, remove the player aspect from the design, because 9 times out of 10 your player is going to break your design because they're going to think of something you didn't think of or use their spell more creatively than you thought of, and that's part of the story, and that's awesome. But at the same time, so like design your encounter, like, Does a person spawn at the end of every turn? If that's the case, like, why are they spawning? Is there a way that players can prevent that? If not, then like, is there a way that your NPCs can protect the source to make it look like that your players need to, hey, we got to stop that glowing orb in the distance, otherwise these goblins keep getting pooped out. Like, you set up the encounter to say, like, if you do X, Y will be the action, and that makes the fight more interesting, because otherwise it's kill the mongoose and it's over, or it's like there's going to be a never-ending stop of this mongoose, and they're going to protect this source, and as soon as you get closer to this source, they're going to be more aggro. More of them are going to start to surround you because you interfered with that. Now it allows the sneaky rogue to sneak behind, break the thing, and now the mongoose are broken from mind control, or whatever the encounter is. And if you approach encounters with that ideology of like, focus more on the mechanics of the fight versus the difficulty of the encounter, you'll find that your players, one, have more fun, and two, that there are more ways to break the fight for the players, in a way, not to say that like, oh, you're catering to the players' advantage here, but it's more like you want to set up an encounter for players to feel like they can break it at your surprise, because that's the moments that people are like, I killed it in this. I did this awesome thing, and I did this. That made my DM go, I didn't think of that. And when you build an encounter to produce those moments more often, people across the board have more fun. It's when you have that epic moment. It's when you come and you came charging. You tell the bad guy, like, hey, screw you, guy. I'm not aligning with you despite all the money you're about to give me. And you subvert expectations, and you make a story as a team. And when you have that story made, like, it's unique, it's interesting. It's not roll the dice, hit the dude, you win the loot. It's much more interesting.
Yep. Sure is. Yeah. No, you're right. I think some of the more interesting encounters that we've all done have definitely been ones that weren't just like, oh, here's a monster, it's got a lot of HP. Hope you roll good for the next hour.
Yeah, like good luck.
We were doing when we did the
Monster Hunter?
Yeah, when we did the Pathfinder Monster Hunter, not to like toot my own horn because some of those were hit and miss. But the Centipede Swarm one was one that I think turned out really well, because it was like, okay, it's a bunch of giant centipedes, and then it was a bunch of giant centipedes that came together and formed a centipede swarm, which is a lot more deadly. And it was like, oh, well, okay, cool, centipede swarm. And then more centipedes spawned and joined into the centipede swarm and gave it more health and started healing it. And then it was like, oh, wait, hang on a minute. So there's a centipede swarm, but there's also the regular giant centipedes. So we got to deal with the swarm, but also the regular ones. But are the regular ones being by themselves more deadly if there's a bunch of them than if it's just one swarm? Because the swarm is higher level and it does a little bit more damage, but then there is also an action economy thing. So it's a whole... It ended up being not as difficult, but mechanically there was like a lot of things to consider.
Yeah. I think my favorite encounter that I've concocted is probably the one that it kind of half ripped from Demon Slayer, that one anime with the spiders and the webbing on them, how they're puppeteering the corpses. Because what I love about that encounter is that every time I've run it, the players have done something so uniquely different to learn that the thing, except for the time I ran it for you, Dylan, because you saw the anime and you knew what was going to happen. But like outside of that one time, and even then you played it pretty well. You played innocent, so that you let the party kind of figure it out. But like in every single one of those, people thought all kinds of different things. You think spiders, you're like, okay, infection. If I kill this corpse, we're going to see a million spiders burst out, and that's going to be... So people like actively try to like avoid doing the thing to like make sure that the bodies stop, so, or they'll just keep blasting until they like think they can kill them. They're like, how much health do these guys have? I'm like, well, they're corpses. I don't know how better to explain it to you through the narrative RP here. Listen to my flavor, and but like that one's been my favorite fight just because it's not a difficult encounter. But there's a lot of stuff like non-combat actions that help you learn how you're supposed to do the fight, that it rewards players who think outside the box. And every time I've run that so far, I've had a player, at least one at the table, who just takes that box, breaks it, and thinks, we're going to do this instead. And, for better or for worse, they do it. And it's a fun and unique encounter every time. I love that. That one's my favorite. I'd run that one anytime.
Yeah. And I think that last part was really what it comes to, the crux of these kinds of games. It's a unique experience every time, right? I think that's what a good
what we
tabletop role playing game will give you is a good, like, unique experience every time. Like, even if you're playing with the same people over and over, every session is going to be different because you're working on a story, you're building a story. Even if you're doing like series of one shots, like, it's going to be different every time. Even if you're doing a long campaign, like, you're going to be working on developing an ongoing narrative.
Sure. I also think it's kind of fun when you're like a DM to try and come up with new mechanics, like the one you just mentioned with the spiders controlling them. Like, that's one of the more fun parts when you get to be on that side of it, is like get to try out new ideas and be like, okay, like, how can I kind of guide the players to, figure out what's going on in this situation
without making it too obvious, where it's like,
right.
there's a giant button in the room that says do not press.
Well,
what
even that can be kind of fun sometimes too, though. Like,
I mean, yeah, like when you throw the red herrings, it's fun, but when it's like, don't press this button or it will kill all the bad guys, but there's one button in the room. It says do not press or everyone will die. Like, I mean, that's when you kind of railroad the decision. You really want to, like, and that's where that's the thin line, right? Like, you really have to balance between having that like aggressive kind of like, okay, we're going to keep this open-ended, and also like you have to describe it in a way that doesn't hit the nail on the head, but you get everything around it so people can be like, oh, there's only a nail to hit here, so that's the illusion of choice when you
well, it's
run
not
that,
even
but,
like the illusion of choice. Like, I think a good way to run stuff is to just lay the situation out and don't necessarily have a solution in mind, to let the players come up with it. Because like, and
that's fair.
there's a couple ways to do it. Like, if you know for sure that like this thing needs to lead to the next thing, for like, or like a bunch of stuff is going to fall apart, then yeah, I mean, that's a way to do it. Like, you want to make it seem as much as possible that that's not the case. But I like to, as much as possible, just, I don't really build like solutions. I don't really build solutions into stuff, because like, you'll find them. I know, like, you guys will find solutions to things. You're gonna come up with something at some point that I'm gonna be like, oh shit, that's a good idea, and then we'll just go with that. It's fine. I know you will. It's gonna happen. So like, why bother having something in mind?
You know what? I always have a wild
idea if I don't have one.
I always have a wild, creative, game-breaking idea that I think players will do. No one ever does it, because that's like if I was a player, that's how I'd approach it,
Yeah.
And like, I'm always like, okay, I'm gonna think like my players right now. How am I gonna break this encounter? Break it in my own way. And then I'm like, here's a contingency for when that happens. I never had to break that contingency. Never happened. No one ever does it how I think they're gonna break it. And I'm like, you could have easily broken it 3 other ways, but that's fine. I like your way. Your broken way is, your unique way and a more fun way for the collective. So let's do that. And that's fine.
And if people are like concerned about like that whole idea of like, oh well, what if I write this whole thing and then like the players go off the rails, whatever. I mean, that can be,
comes with the territory.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a thing that happens. Like, if you're talking about like an individual scene or an individual encounter, like, sometimes you're gonna just have to let that go on like a case by case basis. But if you're doing this whole thing where like there's a premise and like this prince is walking through town and everybody blah 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 and they're designed to meet it, and then your players are just like, yeah, we don't give a shit about that. We want to like go to the town and go talk to the, oh hey, I can speak to animals. I want to talk to the horse. Like
Yeah.
that. I honestly at that point like it.
The horse starts talking about the
But
prince
You
walking
guys
through the
aren't.
town.
I mean,
and,
there's
Yeah, no, but
ways.
that's-
There's ways
no,
that you
but,
can
like,
do
actually,
that.
though,
But like,
yeah,
honestly,
and I think
honestly, like I feel like you don't need to be subtle about it. Like you don't need to like you can just be direct. People are people, right? You're probably playing with friends. You can just be like, all right, guys, look, like so. I have a plan for what we're doing. It's clearly going to be like this Prince thing. Like, can I please just get some buy-in and like work?
you know what though,
Prince thing?
I
Counterpoint?
disagree. I disagree with that. Yeah, I actually very much disagree with that. I think if the party is kind of having fun talking to the horse, I'm going to adapt my story of instead of like, hey, you had to talk to the barkeeper to get the information about the prince. You talking to animals, you're talking to the horse. This is now the barkeep's horse or the prince's like
I mean,
steward's
sure. Like
horse.
if you have a slick way,
And
to
then
do
you're
it,
getting the
then,
information I'd give you.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
so that's how I'd say it. Like, I think like a mark of a really good DM is one who like here's the storyline that your outline, right? Like here are my key points that I want you guys to do so we can get you to the encounter, progress the game, and so we're not just sitting in the tavern playing dice. Like, so you have that outline, and I think you try to guide people to that the best way you can. But when someone takes a hard right, like and like, okay, we're not getting to this encounter in this session, we continue down this tangent, you adjust the tangent to direct them back to the course. And that could be railroading to some degree. But like, I mean, you know, I'm not going to make a bajillion encounters for any situation. So it's like, I want you to fight these goblins at the end of this town. So like, let's follow the prince's horse down this road, and then we're going to get there and find where we need to go.
I guess.
And I mean, I
also
kind of
depends
did
on
that with
the-
you guys today, even.
Yeah.
if we're going
Well, I mean, we
spoiled.
were just like fully bought in. Just like I don't. Wait, is he gonna give us a like clue to what we're doing? Because like
Yeah,
we kind of
it's like-
wrapped this up
and
a little bit.
you know, that's where you have
But-
the
but
buy-in
that's
from
what
the
I'm
players
talking
does
about.
help. The
Exactly.
buy-in from
Like
the
that's
players
what I'm
does help,
talking
yeah.
about. Like we were both just like, okay, like we know that we need to get the story to a point where like it's at a satisfying end or at a dramatic cliffhanger. Either one, like it needs to. We can't just leave off with, all right, well, what do we do next? I don't know, because like that sucks, right? But that's that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like that buy-in from the players of like, okay, we have a goal for this session. Like we've all like discussed, like we want the story to get to a certain point, or we want something like that. Like it's a group storytelling thing. I don't necessarily care for, although I do understand that it's very difficult to avoid sometimes, the attitude of like we're playing the DM's narrative and we just have to go along with it, or conversely the players are going to do whatever the players are going to do and you just have to roll with it. Like there's a middle ground where like you're the DM and you're prepping some stuff and you're not going to prep the entire fucking continent, because that would be ridiculous to do. It would be ridiculous for us to expect you to do. So if we go into the town, in the starting town, and we're just immediately like, I want to go to the next town over. Like,
But
why?
this is
Why
where
do
I
that to
counter argue
you?
with that. So like I agree with it, like, but I think a mark of a true DM, right? Like I'm gonna make you fight this owlbear. Like that's the encounter I set up. I want you to fight him in the forest. In my perfect world, you adventure forth, you take the quest, you go there, you kill the bear, you come back, and you get your reward, right? However, in the world that Dylan wants to run, because Dylan, I'm calling you out, like
Wow.
he wants to
Big
really
wow.
go into the sewers and do completely derail the thing.
Yeah.
So I could just like sit
Good
here
luck
and be like,
fighting
okay,
an
you
owl
know
bear
what?
in the sewers.
But that's the thing. Like, I could sit here and be like, you know what? Let me pull up some stuff for some giant rats. Let's
How did you
change the
even get in
encounter
there?
for the setting to make it mix a little bit better. Or I can like improv, like kind of going into it. Like, actually, this owlbear ended up in the sewer. That's where he's holding out in town.
Turns
And
out
that's
the
why he's been
sewer ends in
evading
the
capture
forest.
or something. You know, like whatever the hook was, and kind of play it into the hook. And then I think in the moment your players don't know one way or the other, and I say that with absolute confidence. Like where I've had to deal with that, and not even in these games, but in other games where it's like I want you to fight the big bad evil guy, but you guys are fucking going in Narnia right now, and I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, well, the big bad evil guy's in Narnia now, so congrats. And then, sometimes it doesn't always make the most sense, and that's my failure as a DM to really make it more cohesive. But it's definitely one of those moments that you can really champion and kind of make your own, and again, bring it to the uniqueness of the story. Where if I run the same campaign with someone else, like we're not always going to the forest to kill this owlbear, regardless if we roguishly snuck on the caravan to get there or just walk there with the ranger. It's like you get there or you fight this owlbear that was killing children or whatever the fuck, and you killed it in your own unique narrative. And I think that's part of the group cohesion of it when you have those. I don't want to call them antagonists at the table, but they're basically antagonists. You're just like, we're going to do left when everyone else wants to go right. And there's always them at the table. There's always. And sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's me. And that's part of playing the game. Yeah, sometimes it's absolutely. And I'll own it.
I will say it is rarely you, but sometimes it's you.
Yeah, sometimes it's me because like we all have those moments in our minds. Yeah, and usually I'm just kind of like, let's go. I don't care. Let's get to the owlbear. Let's fight it. Like I'm not gonna be that guy. But sometimes I am that guy because like when you think about the role play of it all and how your character interacts, you're like, no, my character will be like, fuck this, I'm not doing that, and I'm going to do this instead because my character blah 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 blah, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes you have DMs who are like, hell no, and sometimes you're like, yeah, let's. Real cool. Let's just run, and that's the variance of the game, and I love that. Everyone has different styles, and me personally, since now I've been thinking about DMing for almost 7 years now. Like, that's a crazy thing to think about, but like I enjoy it. Like I have yet to find a DM that I'm like, I hate how you DM. Like I just fundamentally dislike it. I have problems with certain DMs, but like. It's never just like, man, I really wasted my experience.
Preferences. Everybody's got that like, oh well, I would have done it this way kind of thing, right? It happens,
and that's usually where I find myself. Actually, like when I'm playing a game and I see like a DM like floundering to like kind of do the next step, I'm like, come on, man, here's like 5 different things you could just say in the moment. Let me just slide them to you, man. You can take your pick, roll dice, take your pick. I don't care. Like, just roll with it, keep going. And keep the story progressing.
And that's one thing that I appreciate.
Dead air is bad.
Our styles do like heavily differ on that. Because I really appreciate about your DMing style is that you're real quick with the like improv stuff.
Like if I don't know it, I'm just gonna fake it till I make it.
I know I can throw you a curveball, and like I don't really need to worry about it. Like you'll find out it's fine. Like also I'm not gonna be an enormous dick about it.
But flat, I'll move forward.
Well, like for example, in the tavern, I imagine you were not expecting me to just like jump on that guy when I caught him cheating.
No, actually, in fact, I did not. But that was one of those moments. I will say one of the few moments that I had a contingency for if you did, because that one was like, here's an obvious sign that says no cheating. Any basic paladin of the group would say like, okay, let's follow the rules. So like there still was a contingency for that I had kind of pre-planned, but like it was one of those moments. Like I wouldn't say that one was one of the moments that kind of threw me off was when I threw the cart your way and you guys were like, actually we're going to keep going to the empty net, and I was like, you guys had a pretty okay plan. It was just half baked on like following this cart, and I was kind of like jiving with it. Then you guys kind of were like, "Well, fuck that," and that's fine. And then I'm like, "Okay, so let's go to the empty net and like figure that out." But we made it work. So
well, I think I would have tried following the cart, but it kind of seemed like after we tried chasing after it, like we just totally lost track of it, and there was no way to find it again.
That's because you guys did not have the best strategy to approach it, and your rolls weren't great. So, like, I'll give you the opportunity, but I'm not going to spoon feed it to you either if the dice say otherwise. And that's kind of, my hard line in the sand, especially after so much time. It's like, I'll give you the wiggle room, and I'll be much more generous than your average DM. But like, if the dice say no, then nah. So, sorry, guy.
Yeah. I think that's like a huge part of it, though. Is like sometimes you just don't like just because you get like bad dice rolls on like perception or investigation or something, it's like you have to kind of take the long route to get to the destination.
Yeah, and that happens. And there's been plenty of times where I'm like, roll thing here. Well, I would tell you all this detail about what's going to happen here, and here's a you'll notice there's one obvious lever to pull that you just do that and you progress through. But like, no, you don't see shit. You know.
Yeah, like I had a similar moment when we were playing Pathfinder 2, and I think it was Koss was identifying a magic item, and he it was it was the wondrous figurine. It was the dog. And I was like, well, it's kind of interesting, but like I threw it in as like flavor and it was kind of fun and to fill out the loot table. Like it's not like a huge deal. I'm sure you guys will find some creative use for it eventually if we ever go back to that game. But like he critically failed the check to identify it, which by the rules, what I'm supposed to do is give deliberate misinformation. So I'm supposed to tell you like it works completely differently. Basically, I'll tell you like it's a different item, or like I'll tell you that like it does something different than what it actually does. But I was thinking about it and I was like, well, for the purposes of this item, like what am I going to mislead you on? Like you're going to hit the button, you're going to activate the word,
It's for
and
the
it's going
prince.
to like it like you say the word, it turns into a dog and it tracks whatever you tell it to track. Like is there gonna be an interesting scene where I'm gonna tell you something and like 3 episodes later you're gonna come back and like it's like I hit the button and I turned the wondrous figurine into a ladder. Wait, it's a dog. Hold on, what? You told me that this was a ladder.
I lied.
It's shaped like a. That's what you thought. That's what you thought it did.
And you know what? I think that's a fair
And I'm
point to
like,
kind of like
it just
bring
wasn't
up.
interesting. So I just told him like, this is what it is. It's not fun. Like, I'm just gonna fudge this. Like, I'm just gonna give it to you.
I think too often too DMs get a lot of flack for like being dishonest when it's like that's built in the. Don't always trust your DM, guys. Like trust them on the rules of the law of like hey, you can and cannot do that. Trust them on that. But like if they tell, hey, yeah, that cactus looks perfectly safe, and it like bites you, and you're like, oh, I died. Like you can't get mad at the DM for that because it's like. You failed the check. What do you want me to say?
Yeah,
Like, oh, you
if
succeed
there's a
every
roll
time? Like,
involved.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that's one thing
obviously if
that I
there's a roll involved,
do.
yeah.
That's one thing that I really do like about Pathfinder Second Edition is how it uses secret knowledge checks and how that works in Roll20. I can just click a box and I can see the roll and you can't see the roll. I can just click a box on your character sheet and I can hit nature or religion or whatever, society, and I can roll a check for you and you don't see it at all. So you ask me a question, I'm like, hang on one sec. Click, click.
See,
oh, you got a 12.
and
Cool. All right. Well, let me look at the monster. Okay, monster says DC 13 for a knowledge check. Yeah, it's totally resistant to acid. It's immune.
yeah,
Or like it's totally vulnerable to acid. No, it's immune. It's immune. He's just an idiot. He's remembering this wrong.
For me, my biggest problem with Pathfinder versus like D&D, it's straight up like in D&D you would have like a speak to animals ability, and that would work for insects, that would work for dolphins, fish, everything else in between. And Pathfinder, there are separate abilities for like every bit of minutia. That's like cool. If you want to be an insect mancer and do this very specific thing, that's great. You can really do that very defined with a lot of structure, and it's awesome and cool in that regard. But for someone like me who's much more improv and just like I'm just going to use like I'm going to stretch this ability to try to make it work in terms of the narrative to kind of progress it, like it doesn't allow for that wiggle room as much as 5e does. Because like speak to animals, boom, I can I can speak to a bear, I can speak to a praying mantis, but I can't do that in Pathfinder unless I have the specific feats or abilities to allow me to speak to either respectively.
Yeah, I mean Pathfinder does not just combat but also social, which D&D doesn't.
I agree with that,
from a perspective from a perspective of like wargaming. Like there's rolls, there's checks.
Absolutely.
It's a game. It doesn't matter if you're in a conversation with the king to try to get out of being executed, or if you're fighting the executioner. It's the roles are there. There's DCs, there's challenges, there's levels. Like NPCs have levels. All of the stuff has levels. Like there's like it's all there, and like there's even mechanics for doing like an initiative based like conversational encounter like kind of thing. Like it's all on
I
there.
just hate the minutia though. I don't.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
don't
no,
fuck with
for
that
sure.
minutia, and
Like-
that's why I don't love it. And that's my problem with Pathfinder, and why I don't love it. I think it's a great system in its own right. Like it has a lot of great stuff going for it. You know, a lot of improvements on the 5e system that I would even
Mhm.
say. Like especially around character creation. I think the character creation
it's
process
so
in Pathfinder
good.
is pretty great.
Oh, it's so good.
I think it takes
But
too
yeah.
long, but
And,
it's very
and I just
it
wanted
only-
to.
It only takes too long because you're not familiar with it. Like if you
Yeah,
made
but-
5 or 6 characters and like
Yeah.
messed around with it for a while, then you'd be a lot faster with it.
To me, so much of it is just depending on like picking like different like weapons and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that determines so much of what like what your class is gonna work like, right? Like if you pick, you know, a long sword instead of like
Mhm.
a khopesh or a spear or something, you get those like reach, or what's the
Reach
long
or
sword that you do?
trip.
You can do like
Longsword's
2
got
hands or
versatile.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
I
there's
mean,
just
that
so
adds
many
a nice-
details on learning that stuff that it just, for someone who hasn't played it before, it's hard. Not like hard, but
it's
just
extra stuff
time
to learn
consuming.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's the skill floor is drastically higher. There's
Sure.
a much bigger buy-in for learning the system. The other side of that would be, in my opinion, in the same like spectrum is Dungeon World. Dungeon World's the exact same thing. Dungeon
I
World
think
has
Dungeon World's
about 20 pages of rules, if that.
I will say I like Sprawl more than Dungeon World, knowing that there's similar systems.
Oh yeah,
But like
they're all based on the same thing. But
Sprawl was my of that type.
Sprawl's
Sprawl is
good,
my
man.
favorite. I actually
Sprawl's
very
real
much,
good.
very much enjoy Sprawl. I'd do another Sprawl campaign as a player. But
Maybe we'll have to do that.
would be down, and I think a lot of other people would be down too. I think Cowie and Koss really enjoyed that as well. I think they just the contention was probably player decision making half on my part,
can-
so that people didn't love. But we'll talk about that later.
That's a whole
Yeah.
nother deal. For now,
That's a whole
though,
different
for
debate.
now, Ironsworn next Monday, this time slot, 10 to 7, give or take 20 minutes that we've gone over. Ironsworn 10 to 7, 7 to 10, not 10 to 7, 7 to 10. Next Monday for next couple of weeks. Dylan, we can talk, but you can definitely, since you're available in that time slot, you can definitely join me for some Ironsworn.
Sure.
We can do that.
We'll see how it is. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the game.
Absolutely. So we'll figure all that out, but like I said, we'll be doing that. We gotta go because we got some peeps calling to play some Among Us. But that's gonna be it for the stream. We'll be streaming more something. I think I'm gonna, whenever the servers come up for the pre-patch for World of Warcraft tomorrow, I'll probably be diving into that, messing with some stuff, and you probably see me on for a couple hours in the afternoon tomorrow doing that, leveling new character or whatnot. Friday. I don't know. Last Friday I was real tired, so I didn't stream. So either Friday or Saturday, I don't know. We'll do something. I'll stream a thing. Maybe some Among Us. Maybe some Twitch things. Maybe some solo self-found hardcore Path of Exile. That's a mouthful. I don't know. Something. It'll be good. It'll be good. And if you want to see it, if you want to make sure that you don't miss out, gotta hit that follow button. Remember, we need 9 more. We're at 41 out of 50 people. 9 more, please. Log in, make an account if you don't have one. Hit that follow button. Super appreciate it. Super appreciate it if you could do that. It'd be real super. And on that extremely awkward note, Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.